Okay, okay. What's the big deal, guys? What the fuck? What's the problem? Why's everyone so sad? Hey? I don't buy it. Why are you also grumpy? We've been coping in your Discord. Did you see the Matt Walsh tweet? I don't care. Listen, one thing at a time, okay? One thing at a time. I've got my listen. Everyone's got their opinions. I've got the correct one. It's okay. We're gonna get into it. Okay. Actually, it's so. It's funny that I always accuse MAGA of like not understanding that the rest of the world exists. Because I was coming up with, okay, why did this happen? Why did it happen? And I'll go more into it later. I always accuse MAGA of not understanding that the rest of the world exists when they're like, oh, you like October 7th only happened because Biden was in power, or Russia only invaded Ukraine because Biden. Like, and obviously they don't understand that other countries have their own agency, their own unique situations, their own autonomy. And for the election, it's kind of been the same thing. It's interesting that the answer to why this happened is actually really obvious. It's not that interesting. It's just, but you notice as soon as you remember that the rest of the world exists. But we'll see. Well, I'll get into it. I'll leave you guys to come up with some clues. The fuck? The black nail polish is back. Well, we're going full emo right now. Don't worry. It's okay for me though. I'm escaping the United States. No problem. Did you get a tattoo? Yeah, like 14 years ago. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. All we need to do is I need to get Vadim on Discord and see if you can pull me up some numbers, okay? Listen, Vadim. I just need 11,000 votes, Vadim. Give me a break. Just need 11,000 votes in several counties. We need a lot more than 11,000 votes, guys. We need 100. I need 110,000 votes in 3 counties per state. Give me a break, Vadim. I'm like, bro, I really hope Kamala says something funny before she certifies the votes. I don't want her to test any legal theories, but I really hope she just kind of like throws in a quip. She was like, you know, because I think if you're presiding over the election count in on January 6th, you can give a little spiel before you start, because what Pence did before he started counting the votes was he explained to everyone that his role is ceremonial. And you don't normally need to do that because everyone knows it is, but Pence felt like he needed to clear up some confusion that was being sowed within the ranks. So it'd be quite funny if Kamala was just like, now it is my role to simply, in a ceremonial position, certify these votes, despite certain legal theories to the contrary that have emerged in recent years. Fuck, man. Man, we're gonna get Kamala to test a legal theory, bro. No, that would be bad. We're not gonna kill the Joker, actually. Actually, great stream under the circumstances. You made the most of it. I always thought, like, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw the results in Florida compared to the year before, I was like, okay, this is probably fucked. And there's many obvious reasons why it would be. So I'm just like, yeah, as soon as the first counties in Florida were showing, it's just like, but what are you going to do? You might as well enjoy yourself for as long as you can. Listen, guys, pull up pencil. Oh no. Listen, guys, we have one hope, okay? Look at it. This is big copium. It's not over, guys. Look. People keep on saying the Democrats lost 15 million voters since 2020. That's not exactly true. Wait, why is it so fucking big? What the fuck? Oh, because I must have zoomed in last time. Okay, we need to... Jesus Christ. All right, you're gonna go here. You go here. Yeah, here. I guess I'll do this for a YouTube video to make it clearer. Okay. But they haven't finished counting yet, okay? And maybe they've finished declaring the states, which is what matters. I think California is still only 55% reporting. So there will be a few million more Democrat votes. It's just, I think she's still set to lose the popular vote. Easy. Latinos came out massively for... Shut the fuck... Stop. She probably lost like 5 to 10 million. Yeah, but... I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna get through the obvious shit first of all. Because it's so fucking annoying. All right, let's see. Bernie did worse than Kamala. How do you know that? What, like in particular state, right? Oh, I know why the tab's fucking. By the way, sorry. Okay, there we go. Mina, thanks for the tier 4 sub. Really appreciate that. All right. Pisco blame the cat. Don't worry, don't worry. We're not... Listen, that's stupid, okay? Her losing the popular vote was crazy. Well, first time in 20 years, the Republicans have won the popular vote. Don't worry. Don't worry, we know why. I know why. You guys don't know why, but I know why. Okay? I did some research. Okay? I did some digging. I know. Any Hassan clips? Why? We didn't destroy Hassan soon enough, okay? That's why this happened. Right, now I can fix this goddamn... Here we go. Okay. So people keep on showing me this stupid graph, which, first of all, is incomplete because the popular vote hasn't been fully counted yet, so... Okay. But the other funny issue with it is that it's basically just saying, oh, why did Democrats get more votes in 2020? Like, bro, listen, first of all, popular vote's not finished here, so this is going to be higher by the end of the next couple of weeks. But also, what else is happening here? Well, okay, we got a different candidate here, not to mention COVID, obviously. But look at this. Oh, how did the same candidate in 2016, 2020 go from here to here? How did that happen? Blah. What? Where did all these Trump supporters appear from? You can't see my cursor. I'm going between 2016 and 2020. Like, people are so fucking annoying with this bullshit. Oh, how did 2012 to 2016? That's a different person. 2016 to 20 is the same person. Look at this. Blah. What? 12 million magical Trump voters appeared. He wooed people with his response to COVID. Really? You fucking kidding me? No, people got more political. COVID happened. Fewer Trump votes. I don't know if it's fewer Trump votes because the popular vote count hasn't finished yet. If it is fewer Trump votes, that would... I mean, the Nazis lost a couple of million votes in the last free election of the Weimar Republic. So... It was that fucking squirrel. How did the Dems win the misinformation war and still keep the high ground? Seems like a losing battle. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. What? Like... I know now that there's this trend where Russians have been making fact checker sites, like fake fact checker sites, where they get to push disinformation but make it look like a fact checker. I'm sorry, bro. If you're a Republican and you think the other people are doing misinformation, like, you actually don't deserve to live. I'm sorry. How fucking stupid do you have to be? Anyway. We'll get into that as well. We'll get into the disinformation for sure. There's one metric that since people like graphs like this, you know, the simple answer is the best answer. There's a really funny graph that shows you the impact of disinformation. Let's see. What do you make of the bomb threats in Georgia? I don't think it made any difference at all. They will not stop our votes. Where's the where's the fuckboy? But why you call me a fuckboy? What? I'm well behaved. Hang on. Where is... Here we are. I like your historical analysis, but your understanding of Israel is off. Like Gallant being let go because Bibi doesn't have a day after plan is just wrong. I recall saying that that was one of the things that Gallant was having a go at Bibi for, but I don't know the rest of the details. So if you call that like me having a fundamental misunderstanding, like I don't know how many times I have to be like, listen, here's one thing that I've seen happening a lot. It seems that they've been fighting a lot. This is one of the things they've been fighting over. I don't know exactly why it happened. And you're like, excuse me, you If you have the right answer, just fucking tell me. Jesus Christ. All right, hang on. Drafting the Haradim was a problem. Listen, that might be true. I don't fucking know. Will BB be unleashed? If I said if the Bob Woodward book is anything to go by, yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure his replacement is a guy called is it Israel Katz? Is that him? Katz? Or is that a different Katz? This implies Bibi was ever chained. Oh well, if you know some of the things that they wanted to do, then Bibi was absolutely chained. Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? I know this is like the first. I know for a lot of people this is the first time they've ever seen a war happen. But bro, things could be worse. Things could be a lot worse. Any thoughts about Project 2025? I'll believe it when they do one of the things. I don't want to read a 900-page document before it's confirmed that it's actually something to be concerned about. It probably is something to be concerned about. We've got the 30-point checklist. We can look through that. So we got the condensed version, the one-pager. I love a good one-pager, man. We need more of those. Shut the fuck up. BB was allowed to run the aid situation this whole time. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. How many times did I mention the... I was referring to the Woodward book. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just sit back and be like, okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know what he's talking about. Why the fuck would I call... Listen, if you look at... This is like probably the best behind the scenes information we have. It seems very true, and there's been indicators of this all over the place, that Netanyahu wanted no aid to go into Gaza. None. The difference between getting some aid and no aid is people starve to death in the fucking hundreds of thousands, okay? And we know that one of the reasons he was pushed off of that, because he was pressured by America, okay? Just saying. Now, if that turns out to be true, yeah, things could have been a lot worse. And I don't know if Trump would have had the same desire for restraint. Trump wants tariffs. Where are you when I need you? Trans rights crab. Ooh. Oh, it's on my Reddit. Hey, it's on my Reddit. Nice. First of all, You have a Reddit? I do. r/learnerbox. What we got going on here? Oh, a short story. Eh! Don't need that. Need that. Okay. He has a Discord too, but only lefties. Seabugs, you were gonna get timed out for a day and then come back, but then you DM'd like every single mod. I'm sorry, like I'm not against having a couple of MAGA people in the Discord, okay? Just chill. Oh my god, chill. Chill for 24 hours, and I'll bring you back myself, okay? And I'll override everyone just in exchange for 24 hours of peace. God. All right. Was January 6th an insurrection? Yeah, it was a coup. It was a big old. It was an attempted coup, a failed coup. We'll get into that. Don't worry. We'll get into it. Don't stop asking me questions, okay? If you've got a question, I've probably thought about it, and we're going to talk about it, okay? Lonerbox, a stranger in a foreign land. Lonerbox checked his watch at 2:04 p.m. Things hadn't been going well today, and his housemates all seemed annoyed with him. He decided he would simply take things 1 hour at a time. He took a deep breath, set his shoulders, and stepped out of the flat. 2:15 p.m. Lonerbox checked his watch and opened the taxi door. The humid Miami air rushed in and draped itself over him like a wet towel. He climbed out, tipped the driver, applauded, and skipped down the street to his destination. 2:21 p.m. Lonerbox checked his watch as he approached the restaurant. Soothed, he slowed his pace and looked up. The Toscana Divino dominated the main entrance of the Mary Brickell Village shopping complex, with outdoor seating arranged elegantly under a pavilion laced with vines and flowers. Though it was past the lunchtime rush, the place was packed with diners. Lonerbox was able to secure a table after name-dropping a famous friend and regular. He ordered straight away, no need to consult the menu. He was there to try their bolognese to see if it truly matched his own. Just so you guys know, this person knows Miami. At any time of the day, on any day of the week, you can go to a bar or a bistro or a cafe and it's full. Why? What do these people do? Do they have jobs? I think no one in Miami has a job. I don't know how a fucking Friday evening at a restaurant is just as busy as a Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. Like, what the fuck is... Anyway. And it's all expensive as shit. Like, how are you paying for all this? What are you doing? (2:57 p.m. Lonerbox checked his watch. He'd been impressed by the bolognese on a technical level, but a handful of subtle signs showed him that it wasn't made with the same love and passion that he poured into his own. He glanced around at the other diners and felt a surge of anxiety. They were all still eating and chatting away. 2:58 p.m. Lonerbox checked his watch. Perhaps their watches are broken, he thought. He got out of his seat and walked over to the family dining table across from his own. They appeared not to notice him, so he leaned over and tapped the middle-aged man on the shoulder. The man turned, and Lonerbox theatrically showed him his watch and tapped the dial pointedly. The man smiled politely and nodded, but otherwise showed no signs of comprehension. Lonerbox sat back down at his table, deeply troubled. 2:59 p.m. Lonerbox checked his watch. The entire restaurant was continuing on like nothing was happening. He checked his watch again. Perhaps it was his watch that was broken. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a spare watch that had serviced only last week. The two watches showed identical times. 3 p.m. Lonerbox stared at his watch as the second hand completed its final revolution of the hour. As it reached its apex, Lonerbox stood up from his seat, stepped out in the aisle, blocking the path of a young waitress laden with dishes, turned his face towards the sky, and screamed. Bong! The waitress dropped her dishes, sending a fine spray of Italian gourmet up Lonerbox's back. Cutlery clashed to the floor, and guests gasped in shock. Bong! He roared again. Total silence has descended over the restaurant, and all eyes were now fixated on the slightly yoked man who stood like a lightning rod in the center of the pavilion. Bong! For a moment, there was silence so complete you could hear the waves lapping against the shore of Miami Beach. Diner and staff alike were motionless, spellbound by the lanky stranger. Lorna Box gently laid a crisp $100 bill on his table and strode away. A baby began to cry, and the restaurant jolted back to life. Okay. Is the joke that I'm a bonger? Oh. Wait. I am the watch. What? I don't understand. That's cool. Why did you make the baby cry? The baby shouldn't have made me cry. Fuck. All right. I hear Europe is afraid now. If I were Ukrainian, I would be absolutely bricking it right now, but you know, just have to wait and see, really. Israel reacts. Oh no. You should go on an economic reform arc in America. Okay. Mm. Hmm. Let me see. Do we have to guess Trump already? Never mind. Never mind. Maybe European leaders will calm him down. Bruh, what are you talking about? 70% of Israelis wanted Trump to win. Does this mean the end of IP discussions? No, why would it? I mean, it's funny because I gravitate to American stuff, at least partially. I also care about it, but partially because like other people are talking about it. So, but the problem is I don't think my audience cares that much about my American takes. Because whenever I do American politics videos, they're just never as popular. And I don't know if that's just because I'm fucking Scottish or if it's just because I don't know or I'm not expected to know as much. But I'll do it anyway. You know, we've got time to improve. Let me see. Are your viewers majority American or European? They're majority American. Easy. They always have been. Even when I made videos about the UK. What? Wait. I'm getting gaslit. Hang on. I'm getting gaslit. Whoa. Whoa. Where's the election stream? The full one. Did anyone have that? The one from the desk, not the kick one. Our stream VOD's not here? Hi, Stardust. How's it going? Yeah, wait, where's the... Oh, here. Here we are. Okay. It's on Bridges. Are you sure it's not also election day here? Okay. Okay. Where's the transcript for this? Did they actually, does YouTube transcribe a 12-hour stream that quickly now? That's quite cool. Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Wait,
tomorrow, it's going to be the case tomorrow that half of America believes that the Democrats were able to rig an election when they were out of office, but they couldn't rig one after being in office for 4 years.
Okay,
and that's just a normal thing.
That's okay.
For like 80 million people.
Trump fixed it.
So okay, here. Okay, listen. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting gaslit. Okay. There's some bullshit going on here. Fucking Dustin here is saying I stole this tweet on November 6th. Because I guess he said something similar. But what he fails to realize is that I implanted this tweet, and then he did it, and then I did it. Okay. Timestamp. Timestamp. We're going to war. No. I thought Amaranth was going to fight you. Why? Because I called her a cunt. I have a good save, though, because I'm Scottish, okay? Because what was my... Wait, sorry, that's what I said, right? Yeah, it's basically the same tweet. Okay. Based? Based?
Shut up. Okay. Okay, this guy's giving
a
us...
funny thought
Keep
tomorrow.
that guy. He's
Wait, hold
smart.
on.
We like that guy.
It's going to be the case tomorrow that half of America believes that the Democrats were able to rig an election when they were out of office, but they couldn't rig one after being in office for 4 years. And that's just a normal thing.
That's okay.
For like 80 million people. Look, he's pretending to not hear what I'm saying.
You guessed it. Russia.
He's pretending to not hear what I'm saying. His inner monologue is like, wow, that's really funny. I'm going to tweet something like that tomorrow and then get mad when he... It's okay, guys. It's okay. I have my own thoughts. All right. Ugh. Bong, thanks for the €2, Loris. I appreciate it. Sorry, what was that super chat? I completely ignored it because I was busy. Did you see Trump's plan for Ukraine? Alleged worst case scenario for everyone except for Russia. Oh, I'm pretty sure Trump is just going to disarm Ukraine or like stop helping them and push them to cede territory. Isn't that the whole thing? Isn't that the entire gist? Did I even need to read an article about that or what? 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 Man. Wait, I'm gonna be really petty now. Hang on. I'm gonna be petty as shit. If I still have this, oh god, I don't think I'm gonna find it. Hmm. Hmm. Would there be a link? Let's see. What's this? Nah, it's okay. We're fine. We're fine. I was going to... He's slandering you on stream. I was going to... Because the clip exists. He's doxing you. Wow. I was going to... I was going to find the fucking clip because I sent this to someone. And if I gave myself like 30 minutes, I'd find it. But this like all roads lead to Rome fallacy was something that I pitched to him, calling it that. But I'm not petty. I'm not petty. What's happening? Am I in trouble? Why is he doxing me? It's on his video. Okay. That's fine.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Bong.
Wow. Okay, since we're past all this dumb election shit. Am I loud? Looking, nah, it's fine. Since we're past all the election bullshit, now we need to focus our efforts, okay? Now that I've seen how powerful you guys can be mobilized, all right? We need to channel our energies for good. Okay, I had a very true and hilarious take the other day that conservatives should be willing to concede that there was no election fraud because of the fact that there was, because they won the election, right? Now, Lonerbox has stolen that tweet, and he made it without crediting me, and he got more likes, I think, than I did. I don't even remember if I tweeted it or not. He might have stolen it from me with no accreditation, okay? So we're gonna start with this YouTube channel. I'm gonna link videos to Spam Report, and I'm gonna post his address in my chat.
Whoa.
And then we're gonna get his family.
Isn't my address like his right now? Because I'm in his laundry chute.
Not his loved ones.
Does he know?
They don't love him. He just loves them because he's pathetic.
Does he know? He just ordered a drone strike on himself. Does that make...
By the way, you stole it from him. Fake news. If it's not on video, that's fake news, baby.
It is on video.
Sarcasm. Excuse me.
Oh, get him. Get him, guys. It's coming.
Do you think this is Twitch? Your mic says like the input is really high. That's because it is. Okay, maybe that's better.
Vadim. I need some links.
Yeah, but I don't know why, or maybe that was always the plan, but I wasn't on the panel with the other people. I just had to sit there like a cuck and listen to them, either because they don't like me, or because Pierre just wanted to challenge me one-on-one, because we had a one-on-one mini show, like a 20-minute interview after. But bullshit. Okay. I thought Scaramucci was based in awesome. Why does Scaramucci sound not based in awesome now? Were we wrong? Hello?
Where's the
You seem like
video?
a total, like, yeah, Trump is cool, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the fuck happened.
It's on video.
Hold on. People are saying boner box. You got upgraded to 101 instead of fighting with the peasants? Well, the person on before that at least was fucking Roger Stone. I really would have wanted to fight with him. But Pierre seemed like he was just farming like reactions to the election. Because I tried to fight with him. I laid out a few points, but then he didn't bite on anything. So I think he just wanted to.
We're almost caught up,
Charlie
okay?
gets- Whatever.
It's gonna be there. It's gonna arrive. I don't see the screen switching. Shit.
No YouTube stream? Yeah, I'm not streaming on YouTube today.
Tell him the audio's too quiet. That's not fair. Okay, that's like nuclear weapons.
Let's see. Find the
That's nuclear weapons.
fake news Trump gif. Got him. No, really, your live notifications and indicators for YouTube have been fucked. People say this sometimes. Like, enough people say it that I think there's something happening sometimes, but then I'm looking at my viewership and everything is, like, the same. So I don't know if it's just sometimes some people just don't get notifications for whatever reason, but, like, I had people saying this before when I was getting, like, I'll have like 20,000 viewers be like, yo, we didn't get notifications. You're being, like, suppressed. And it's like, I don't know, maybe shit's just fucked sometimes. Maybe not everything. It's a fucking conspiracy.
So I see people in chat have mentioned that it's on video, but he's just conveniently ignoring it. I see how they do. Oh, okay, that's a good strategy, you know? Damn. And he's got that
think
strategy
I'll
from
look at
Hassan. He replied. He did. Okay. Oh. If you can't beat them, join them, guys. This is a slippery slope, okay? It's a very slippery slope. Okay. I thought he was quitting Twitter. The fuck? What's happening? I can't tell if this is a troll now. I'm slow. It's okay. It's okay. All right. You're not blocked. No, you might. I've noticed that people who have blocked you will appear on your Twitter feed now. That's quite fun. So I can just look at people's tweets if they've blocked me. That's quite banging, actually. I like it. I think it's a force for good. That no one, you're unavoidable on Twitter if you get enough tweets, if you get enough retweets and mutuals. Okay. So I know people have been dropping all kinds of theories about what the hell happened, what went wrong, and everything. So I should probably just give my very straightforward opinion on the only correct answer to that question. Oh God, there's so much nonsense. Okay? There's so much nonsense. All right, first of all, no, wait, sorry, wait, hang on. Hang on. It's so, I don't know, it's so obvious. It's so obvious why that. I told you so, Lorner Box. What did you tell me so? What? I don't know who you are. What are you? Okay, I think people know. Okay, people, it's not that, because I spoke to people about this yesterday off stream. Hang on. Who is this person? We have a we have a stream footage denier in chat, in Justin Anthony, someone who hasn't seen the election stream before the tweet. Any thoughts on Brian Tyler Cohen? Yeah, he seems cool. Yeah. Don't know that much about him, so pinch of salt, but I think he's cool. He seems all right. Okay. There's this really annoying thing that happens. People in my state passed a law barring idiots and insane persons from voting under the guise of citizenship. What state is that? North Korea? I don't know. Okay. Soldier, thanks for the $25. I got that Neuralink treatment, then my hand started moving towards the Trump button. I couldn't help it. Listen, guys, are you ready? Are you ready for all the turning of the tables? Because we have so much, okay? We've got DOJ warnings about Russian interference in the election process, particularly in terms of disinformation and inflating certain figures and talking points beyond what would have just happened within the citizenry. People with FARA violations, Lauren Chen getting absolutely annihilated by a Canadian committee, other people being called to the stands. Lauren Southern's going to have to speak to them before the end of the month. We got Elon Musk, lotteries, people setting ballot boxes on fire, bomb threats. We also have a vice president.
Too bad on the loss.
Whose name?
Here's some freshly printed Trump dollars to help with the 20% tariffs you'll get in the UK.
We also have, thanks for the $10, we also have Vice President Harris, who is in charge of certifying the results, the electoral college votes. She's the one who counts the electoral college votes. And I don't know about you guys, okay? But I have been really sold recently on this perfectly legitimate legal theory that the ECA is actually unconstitutional, and the vice president really doesn't need to count anything she doesn't want to. So I don't know. I feel like when you put all these facts together, not to mention all the Project Veritas videos and other MAGA videos I've seen of irregular activity at the polling stations, all of which seems to have suddenly gone quiet after the results came in. Concerning. Never mind. I'm joking. We're not doing that because that's cringe. Okay. Only cringe people do that. I do hope Kamala, because vice presidents can make little kind of opening speeches before they certify the votes. It would be quite funny if she just threw in a quip, right? Because Mike Pence had to reassure everyone because of all the confusion that was being sowed by Trump and Giuliani and shit. Mike Pence had to, before he started counting the votes, he had to say what his role was. He had to remind everyone that his role was ceremonial. So it would be quite funny if Kamala just does the same thing and throws in a little, despite some of the legal theories that have emerged from the other side in the last 4 years. I don't know. That would be very interesting. That would be quite interesting. I think she could just throw a quip and then certify and do the peaceful transfer of power. But I guess the annoying thing is that now that this has happened and Democrats have lost in every swing state, so Trump has won the election. He's almost definitely won the popular vote. Like, I think that's basically a given by now. They're still counting in California and other blue states like Washington, Oregon. But yeah, it looks like Trump's won the popular vote. He's won the Electoral College, won the Senate, maybe win the House. I'm not too sure yet. And obviously a pretty conservative Supreme Court. So what happened? And what do you think caused this? Well, personally, I think this was caused by the niche political issue that is very important to me and that I was going to blame regardless of what happened. That's actually what happened. Yeah. It was actually because of, I don't know, Gaza or foreign policy or Ukraine or any. It was actually because of all of the things that people don't actually pull that high on and what's an important issue to them. It was definitely, Biden would have won for sure. Come on, Biden. Mate, have you seen him lately? What are you talking about? Gavin Newsom. Stop. Okay. Oh, it was Harris just didn't run a very positive campaign. You know, she could have, she was all joy, but then suddenly it was, oh, Trump bad. And actually, you know, a more positive centered campaign and not just a Trump bad campaign would have been better. You know, more joy, more joy. Bernie, meanwhile.
It'll be nasty a little bit at times, and maybe at the beginning in particular, but it's going to be something. And it'll be nasty a little bit at times, and maybe at the beginning in particular.
The second term's going to be a bit nasty, okay? Listen, the fact is, even the gaps were so big that even if you dig into a lot of these theories that people are opposing, it's still not enough. So even if you look at Michigan, it's not, Michigan's a small margin, right?
Did you hear that Piers is fussing that it took Kamala 12 hours from Trump declaring victory even though the election is still being counted and Trump hasn't conceded 2020?
Well, the problem with Pierce is that he can't make a coherent point. It's difficult, actually, and you wouldn't be able to either, by the way. Stop being so... I know you're very privileged, okay? And you are able to communicate without Trump's fucking... mango Mussolini chode throbbing inside your gullet, okay? But for Pierce, it's difficult to be coherent when that's happening to you, okay? And for some reason, anyway, Michigan, okay, so Trump wins by, so far, it's like 99% reporting, so it's not going to change that much. Trump won by, what, about 30,000 votes, 29,000 votes in Michigan. So maybe GAZA did this, because it's not just the Jill Stein number, right? Jill Stein accounts for some of the votes that would otherwise go to Democrats, but it's also, you have to consider people abstaining, because not everyone who opposed Harris on the grounds of, I'm looking at Wisconsin, I'm such an idiot, sorry. Michigan's even close. No, Michigan's not as close. So Michigan was, what, like 70,000, 72,000? So again, even in this case, though, it's the same idea. It's the same idea. It's not to say that it's just Jill Stein voters. It's also people who abstained because they were angry with Harris. So even if you account for that, though, that doesn't explain that. That's not even enough, okay? Trump didn't need Michigan. He has states to spare, okay? Michigan's 10 electoral votes. He's got Arizona. He's fine, okay? He's 295. He has states to spare, even if he lost Michigan. So it's not GAZA, okay? GAZA did not give Trump the popular vote. It didn't give Trump the electoral college. He swept. Yes, he swept, okay? Stop saying GAZA. If you say GAZA, you're an idiot, okay? It's not foreign policy. You can look at exit polls, or you can look at all the opinion polls. These are not top issues for most voters, okay? Or I think Brianna Wu's done the opposite, where she's really interested in how the Jewish population vote, even though most of them voted Democrat, as everyone expected. Is it like because of Trump's being able to sway minority men? Again, most minorities still voted Harris. I think the only racial demographic that voted majority Trump was white men and white women. If we're looking at age demographics, well, if you want to be kind of cheeky, you can definitely appeal to the generation led, if you wish, because the only age demographic that voted majority for Trump was 45 to 64, okay, which just happens to be the generation that is the most laden with lead. So I don't know. People at the petrol station, they like the smell. They have a huge whiff every now and then. This might explain all your parents who spent the entirety of the 2000s telling you to be careful reading things on the internet. Don't trust the internet. Like, you should watch the real news. Are now people who are bombarding you with Facebook memes. I asked my dad once when he was talking to me where he gets his media from, like where he's learning these things that he's telling me. He wouldn't tell me. He was embarrassed. Like, he got defensive. He got angry when I asked him. He didn't want to tell me. I was like, "Can I know this is Facebook memes? I know it." Like, it's something like that. Anyway, it's from the same area that you told me that never to read. Like, you told me not to trust, and say, yeah, like so many of your parents do this. It's weird. I don't know why, but okay. Anyway, I don't think that explains it either, though. Not necessarily, because it's not.
I
This
don't
isn't.
know if y'all know a lot of conservatives, but I live in Louisiana and here they say the Dems are trying to steal the country, so democracy was said on both sides.
Democracy was said on both sides, but the overwhelming majority of people who said so, the biggest issues, according to the exit polls, was economy and democracy. The overwhelming majority of people who said democracy was their biggest issue was because of Trump. Okay, it wasn't the. There were people who said that democracy is the biggest issue because of electoral fraud by the Democrat. That's not most of them, though. Most people, if they say democracy, they're talking about Trump, and people who said economy were talking about voting for Trump. So the real answer, okay, and I think it's kind of obvious, is the things that hurt incumbents the most. Democracy was because of a no primary election. You're just wrong. Unfaithful, you can show me any poll that shows you the majority of people saying democracy is the top issue are people who were Democrats who were upset because of a no primary election. You're a fucking retard. Sorry. Anyway. Anyway. What about the keys? Listen, the keys are gone, man. The things that hurt incumbents the most, historically, are things that incumbents can't really control. The things that would hurt any incumbent the most are usually things that are hurting multiple countries at once. That seems to be the trend of the last, of this century. So 2008, the global financial crisis is not really the fault of any incumbent president, but every incumbent is blamed for it and they get kicked out, right? Labour were booted out of office in the UK for like 13 years and people blamed them for the outcomes of the financial crisis, okay? They just did. Even though it was a crash that started in America. Republicans got kicked out and Obama came in. And obviously incumbents got booted out all over Europe as well. In Occam's razor, if you, okay. People who say Occam's razor when the data is against them, I've realized this. People say Occam's razor when what they really mean is vibes. I don't trust people who say Occam's razor anymore because every time I see someone saying it, it's because it's because there is better evidence, but they're just vibing. I don't know why they do that. Unfaithful, go away. Get better. All right. Anyway. It's because their vibes are superseding the empirical reality. Anyway, 2008 knocks out incumbents. 2020, COVID messes up incumbents. And I remember I was saying this to Stephen. I feel like the answer was probably just like inflation. I would imagine that incumbents are going to get messed up by inflation because inflation crisis takes off in about 2022, largely because of the fallout of COVID, but also the war in Ukraine. That happens, and every incumbent is blamed for it, despite the fact that it's not really their fault. And you might have heard people saying quite frequently that America handled inflation better than the rest of the G7. So you would think that, okay, if this theory stands, then other G7 countries and other OECD countries would have actually also had issues with their incumbents because of inflation, right? And that theory would be a strong one. Well, I did some research, and it's like, just looking at things off the top of my memory, this has been a trend. Incumbents are suffering. Post-2022, incumbents are suffering basically everywhere. They're generally losing or they're losing their majorities, depending on the voting systems, in high turnouts as well. Because there's a problem, I think, with people. I saw this when it was Mehdi and Stephen on the Pierce show, when they were just flat out like, there's not really any merit to people feeling like there's not really any merit to this idea that people feel worse off, right? Like it's like a vibe, or it's like COVID being used as a proxy, the outcome of COVID, or like mental health issues being, and the economy is just like a proxy for something else. But the problem is that even if inflation's dealt with, the prices don't come down, they just stop rising, okay? So Austria was one quite recently. Poland actually reversed a pretty long-lasting right-wing trend with their elections. And the interesting thing about this as well is if we go through these countries, you got Poland, that was 2023. You've got Japan, 2024, just recently actually. Japan had their long ruling party losing as well. You've got France with the centrist party losing a bunch of their seats. You've got the UK with the biggest landslide, like the biggest gap since 1832 or something, for Labour taking out the Conservatives. And this is the case pretty much everywhere. Spain was one where the incumbents stayed, but I think Spain and Denmark are kind of exceptions because the incumbents stayed, but they had to either change their coalitions or they just had to embrace coalitions. So everywhere, incumbents, Finland, Portugal, everywhere, incumbents are getting smashed. And it's not in a left-right or right-left direction. It's both. It's just whoever's in. So here in America, we went from Democrats, center-left, center, to fascism. In Poland, you went from right way to left. In the UK, you went from right to center-left. New Zealand went right. I think it's simple. I just think, honestly, this whole blame game, I don't actually... Politics is pointless. Kind of. Yeah, it's a little bit because in the 2008 crash, I don't know, do we really blame Labour for losing in the UK? Do we blame Republicans for losing in 2008? The fuck? Like, I'm sorry. Because the Dems handled inflation better than anyone else in the G7, at least. Probably most of the OECD. And still this happened because, unfortunately, when you get inflation smashing up, when inflation goes way high and your recovery is only starting within the last year, you can't really go to the public and say, no, you're wrong. You're wrong about the economy. No, sorry, look at the GDP. Look at real wages. Look at unemployment. Banging. Because they see high prices and they're probably still in a stage where their finances are still worse because they're recovering, right? Like they haven't seen the benefits yet. And you know what's really funny is that if Trump is clever, which he's not, but people around him are, if Trump's clever, he shouldn't do anything with the economy. That's what I think. Because the uptick has started recently. Real wages are growing. Unemployment's down. GDP growth is going. So if Trump doesn't do his tariffs, which would actually reverse the gains of the last couple of years, if Trump doesn't do his tariffs and just continues what Biden was doing, people will start to feel the benefits of those policies within 1 or 2 years. And Trump will take credit for it. And now all the people who were saying, what, GDP growth? Sorry, talk to real people in the street. What's the price of a pint of milk? They're all going to point to GDP. Because that's what they do. Trump's going to take credit for, if Trump carries on Biden's economic policy and doesn't put 20% tariffs on everything or 1,000 or 2,000% tariffs like he said to the Bloomberg thing, he can just claim victory for it. He can claim responsibility for it. Because people will feel the benefits of this trajectory in a year or two. And this is the same as 2016. Like everything that Trump took credit for in 2016 economically were things that were already happening. Every trajectory, whether it was growth, manufacturing jobs, whether it was unemployment, like these were all things that were going well under Obama as well. And they were just continuing. So if Trump's smart, he'll basically just do Biden's thing. If he's, and then you can save the tariffs for after in 2 years. In 2 years, when he wins a supermajority in the House and Senate, he can do his tariffs. But who knows? Trump isn't smart. He's got crazy ideas. Yeah, but he's surrounded by people who are smart. And I think if anyone's like Bill Barr, if you remember that interview with, there was an interview with Bill Barr when he's talking about there's a documentary about January 6th, and Bill Barr is saying that the way that he was able to rein in Trump was always by saying, listen, this thing is going to hurt you. Not it'll be bad for the party or the country or anything. If Bill Barr says, if you do this thing, it'll hurt you. If someone can explain to Trump why tariffs will hurt him, then if he can get convinced by that, then he might hold it off. I don't know. But that's my take. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of obvious, but I mean, it's just facts, okay? I don't blame Hassan, okay? I mean, I only don't blame people I don't blame the far left people who seem to have just not turned out or seem to have encouraged their followers not to turn out. I think one of the issues in this one is the youth turnout. I've been talking about this for months, by the way. I've been talking about this for months. I've been saying that youth turnout was huge for Biden in 2020, and it was a large part of him winning. And we were expecting it not to be as high this time, and it wasn't. Youth turnout was lower this time by a lot. So that's a problem. And I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of very large channels, whether it was Hassan or the Majority Report or basically any of the far left, communist YouTube channels and all that, these guys were either saying nothing or they were saying don't vote or vote for Jill Stein. And that's a problem because it's not enough to just say, I hate both parties, but Trump's worse. You have to mobilize. You have to inspire people to vote. You have to convince them to vote. It's not enough because I imagine, oh God, imagine if Hassan did still say you should vote. It's still most of his audience or enough of his audience still isn't going to, because the entirety of his narrative and his rhetoric demoralizes voters. And it's not really their fault that this happened because the gap is just too big and there aren't that many communists in America. But the Majority Report did say vote for Kamala, to be fair. Don't care. I'm sorry. Again, you understand how Trump saying be peaceful after an hour of saying the election's stolen and no one's going to help is an incitement to violence, right? At least in a moral sense. You understand that. You should surely understand how Holocaust terrorists, she's bought and paid for by AIPAC. She is funding the biggest genocide of the last of this century, the only genocide of this. Some of them say, this is like Rwanda, this is like Khmer Rouge. But you should vote Democrat for harm reduction. Mate, people aren't going to fucking vote. That's not inspiring people to vote. You have to inspire people. You can't just tell them, by the by, vote, even though everything else I'm saying is completely contradicting that idea. So on a results-based analysis, it's not really their fault, but it's still the intent is a problem. And if these guys are growing their bases, if they're growing their communities, that's an issue. Yeah, it's a big issue. Far left abstinence. What is happening on Google? What's this? The fact that they Googled Scottish citizenship is a bad sign. Google has seen a major surge in web searches from the United States asking how to move to Scotland and Scottish citizenship. You would be a British citizen. Nice one. Why does the left have such weak-ass candidates? I don't know, because it's so hard to say. Harris clearly tried to appeal to the center and to the moderates, like the moderate Republicans. I don't think a lot of them voted for her, by the looks of things. But voters seem to be telling pollsters that Kamala is too progressive, is too liberal. But honestly, I don't think that means she should have gone farther right. I just think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Maybe people think that. Maybe people do think she's too progressive, or maybe they're just saying that because too liberal and too progressive is a proxy for too black and too women. I don't know. Are you surprised by the Dearborn results? Not really. How much does misogyny play a role? I mean, people say, oh, these like Latino people are moving towards Trump, but it's mostly Latino men. I don't know. I have no idea. Holy cope. Holy cope is the fact that Trump still hasn't conceded that he lost in 2020, okay? I'm sorry. I would feel like I was coping right now. Maybe a bit. That would be an effective comment. If the bar hadn't been set to Trump still hasn't conceded the 2020 election, okay? You will never outcope. You will never get outcoped by the Democrats. You never will. You are always going to be the pinnacle of cope. If Trump lost the popular vote in this election, he would blame it on fraud. Just keep yelling racist, sexist, fascist. Sorry, what did I just do? I think I said it might be misogyny that played a role in it. That's yelling to you? You see how you're the sensitive one? The fact that I'm even humoring it as a possibility is making you upset. Like, anyway. X is a snowflake, it's fine. Definitely has lead in the brain. But I don't think... Nah, I don't know. Like, I think sexism plays a role, but I don't think had Harris been a white man, she would have won. I don't think that's the case. And again, it's a trend. It's a trend everywhere. It's a trend that incumbents are getting fucked by and have been getting fucked since inflation, since the 2022 crisis. So, yeah. Here's an observation. Trump defeated 2 women candidates and lost against male candidates. Yeah, but Trump was also overseeing COVID. And Trump oversaw one of the worst death rates in the world during COVID. And Trump denied that COVID was a big deal in the beginning. And Trump was talking about injecting fucking... What was he talking about injecting? It wasn't bleach, was it? But it was something... It was someone injecting some weird shit. There's a lot of reasons Trump lost in 2020, okay? He also killed a lot of his voters. So, it was bleach, yeah. Bleach and UV light. God, hydroxychloroquine. I remember having a debate with someone when they were like, listen, he didn't say drink bleach. He didn't say that. He didn't say drink bleach. He said you could inject it. I was like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? It wasn't drinking bleach, but obviously everyone said it was disinformation to say drinking bleach because actually what he said was inject. Like, what the... Anyway. That's quite scary. Uber, thanks for $5. One of the reasons the youth voting was so high in 2020 was because mail-in ballots were delivered without request in more states because of COVID. Yeah, it's the thing though. You got to inspire people to vote. Because the thing is, it wasn't Kamala's lack of popularity. I mean, everyone's unpopular now, but I think Trump's approval rating, his popularity was like, what, -8%? And Kamala's was -1 or 2. So people preferred Kamala, or they, I guess what the real is, they hated her less, but they didn't vote for her. They just didn't vote. And I think the reason they didn't vote is like, it's probably a combination. My guess is it's a combination of some angry left-wingers, but more so, I think it's just independents. I just think it's independents who were too bothered by the inflation issues to come out for Kamala or to vote at all. Because Trump doesn't seem to have gained that many voters. He might have even lost some voters since 2020. I don't know if the count's finished yet, but he doesn't seem to have made like a huge gain in popular vote. You're saying he lost 3 million, but he again, the count's not finished yet, so just wait till the count's finished. There's still only 55 or 60% reporting in California, so yeah. Anyway, that's my take, okay? And it's very correct. Just gotta wait and see, you know? I think the only the only kind of like respite is the fact that Trump didn't actually do all that much compared to what he was promising in 2016, but I don't know, he seems a lot more he's a lot more of an ideologue now than he was back then as well. Like his anti-immigrant position is just, it's so much more firm now than it was back then, and his commitment to tariffs is so much more like, he's got so much more conviction for it than he did before. So I don't know, it's rough times ahead, guys. If you're American, God, I'm going home. The real reason this didn't happen though, okay, the real reason Harris lost is because I didn't do good enough. Okay, I didn't finish my course on US civics in time to make fun of magatards. That's where we are. Okay. What's the smell in the chute? I don't know what you're talking about. What arc are you going to do next? Left-wing anti-Semitism. I might do... That'll come up again, I think, occasionally. Obviously, I'm still going to cover Gaza and Lebanon because I imagine Trump is going to make that a lot more, should we say, interesting? It's a neutral term. But I don't know if I think what I want to do now is, I was always a bit hesitant before finishing reading the Mueller report and looking into a lot of Trump's criminal cases and everything like that, because I thought, well, if he loses, it's not going to matter, right? Or even January 6th. But now, I think I might actually just want to make... Ukraine will come back in the mainstream news for sure, because Trump is going to do some absolute fucking batshit stuff there, I imagine. God, can you imagine if I know Musk's connections to Russia are quite strong. Obviously, Russia likes Trump. I wonder if Putin if Putin didn't have his own interests, his own unique interests, and he just wanted to bolster Trump, it would be quite funny if he just like left Ukraine. If Trump just speaks to him.
Trump has unlimited power now, all three branches, sycophants replacing all civil servants, etc. He can do whatever he wants now. So why would he ever allow another free and fair election in the US?
Thanks for the 100 Hong Kong dollars, Soldier. That's really generous of you. I think he'll... What will he try to do in terms of presidentials? He might try to end term limits, maybe. Or he might prepare his... He might start preparing one of his children, someone in the family, to take over. Because what if Putin has actually been... Imagine if Putin was actually really dissatisfied with the results in Ukraine, and he's decided it wasn't worth it, but he's deciding to hold out just because he wants to do it under a Trump presidency. But again, I don't think that's stupid, because Putin has his own interests. Putin has his own concrete interests. He's not there just to, even though it is fucking funny how Russia suffers so much domestically, and they're sending a bunch of their soldiers to their deaths in the hundreds of thousands, maybe like up to over 500,000 now. But they do such a good job at fucking things up in the rest of the world. They invest so much in disinformation campaigns over in America and in international media with RT and with sowing dissent. And their military it was the Russian military that hacked the Clinton emails, the DNC emails. So it's funny that they invest so much effort into the rest of the world. Meanwhile, their own population is suffering this much. It's like, the meme, like, oh, why should we help Ukraine when we could take care of our own? Unironically, Russia does that. Russia actually spends much needed money that would go really far at home on fucking up the rest of the world. It's just meanwhile, America's trying to spread democracy and failing almost all the time, or all the time. I guess spreading chaos is easier than spreading democracy. Trump did say 24 hours after his inauguration, after being made president, he would fix Russia, Ukraine. He would stop the war in 24 hours. Did you hear that Russia sent bombing threats to poll centers? Really? Did I hear that? Did I hear that as an operative who was covering the election? Hello, old friend. Do you hear me?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I do. Do you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit laggy, but not bad.
How's it going?
It's going somewhere. Well, where do we start? I hope I'm not distracting you from, important stuff.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, but how are you doing, Lonerbox? What's up?
Yeah, I'm chugging away, My country's
What's that?
fine, but everyone else is
I don't know.
needing a hand.
I don't know this word. What does it mean? Chug.
Chugging. You know how like a train chugs? Chug, 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 chug.
Oh.
It's like...
Oh, fuck, someone's calling. Wait a second. Who is it? What's going on? I made them stop, I think. I hope you didn't hear the call.
No, I didn't. It's fine.
Someone was trying to call me.
You asked what chugging
wait a
means.
sec. Yeah, I asked what chugging means, but now I'm trying to understand how to turn Bluetooth back on. On, I think. Yeah, I apologize for that. I don't know who that was and how they managed to get through, but whatever. Well, yeah, I mean, people ask me, and like, there's a lot of like doomer talk. You can probably imagine. Like, I feel like people are a little bit too hasty to bury us, it seems, because people have been talking to Dylan Burns and calling him on stream and such, and saying like, you should get out of Ukraine, they're gonna be like doomed and ended and all that. So it's a bit more doomer for some reason, even in the West, than it is in actual Ukraine. But yeah, we are also so used to things being extremely shit that I think it's kind of hard to phase us, So maybe that's why. But on the day then Trump won, I was like walking about in Kharkiv, running errands, doing stuff in the city. And I obviously heard people talk about the election and everything, mostly with themselves or like on the phone with someone. And people were like, well, shit. basically. That was the main reaction. Everyone was like, well, shit, and like, oh man, like we shall see what will happen, back to surviving. So there wasn't like mass like panicking or like crying or any other emotional reaction at all. So
Okay. Is
yeah.
that just because it's like it's not hitting home yet, or is it like do you expect things to get much worse, or yeah, I don't know.
Most people, first of all, expected him to win. So it wasn't
Okay.
like a shock or a surprise. So most people I personally know in Ukraine, but also like, Twitter people in Ukraine or like, general public, even our like politicians and soldiers, most of them told me to, I don't know politicians, but soldiers told me that they expect him to win. So I guess because of that it wasn't such a like a shock or a surprise to anyone. No, to somebody maybe, but to most people it wasn't. And yeah, people have been sort of like preparing mentally for that for a while, for months, and many people were already in a doomer mood, like in general, So yeah. So this kind of felt like I made this joke, but it's not really a joke. I don't know if you know, but there was like a period of time when everyone was taking potentially Russia doing a nuclear strike very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like a lot of like fear mongering and talking about it, and even in Ukraine, people were like a little bit like slightly worried that it might happen. And this is how people talk about this now, like a potential Russian nuclear strike. So the phrase is "yobne to yobne" in Ukrainian, which can only be translated if it fucking hits, it fucking hits, So this is how people treat it. So if it fucking happens, then it fucking happens. Like, what can we do? We can't really affect anything. The only thing we can do is for Zelensky and our, people try to, I don't know, like do some sort of diplomatic relationship with Trump or some shit. I don't know. Maybe we could build a golden statue of him in Kiev or some stuff. Maybe send, I don't know, kiss it or something, or like bow to it. Maybe that will help. I don't know. The beautiful, biggest statue that never was built before, something like that. Maybe that will help. Actually.
I don't actually
Yeah.
think this, but there's like a little devil on my shoulder that just wants a really big war somewhere else in the world to break out so that people can be like, so that Harris can say, it never would have happened were I in power, because that's how that works. Like if China invades Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, it would be funny though, in a way, because people would be like, no wars under Trump. That talking point was like quite prominent. And that would be funny. Not funny for Taiwan, I suppose. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much the attitude, I guess, of people, like looking at it like something unavoidable, inevitable that would have happened, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really followed the movements in Ukraine recently at all. I mean, what's changed in the last year or so?
You're very robot-like. Am I robot-like to you,
No,
or is
you're
it
not.
just on your...
It's me. Fuck. I thought I'd solved this, but
You
hang
sound
on.
like you're speaking like you're an android.
Right, let me disable and re-enable. Let's see if I do this. Fucking.
Futuristic box.
That usually helps. Does that help?
Can you say something?
Hello, hello?
Yeah, you're still a robot, but still fine.
What the fuck?
I can deal with you.
Okay,
I can deal with it.
I'll try one more thing. Otherwise, I'll fucking cry about it. Okay, let's see.
Don't cry. Nope.
Okay. Oh well.
You can try to drop the call. Maybe that will help. That's my method.
It's just my laptop's just fucking retarded. Like I don't know if it's like a Windows 10 thing, but for some reason it's like it's usually okay that you can just turn off the default sound input. But this one you have to leave it on for some reason, and even if I disable it, it seems like it's trying to come back anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to flip back randomly, and that's all I can do. Yeah.
Ah, well, I mean, I'm all right talking with a robot box. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, can you repeat what you said before we talked about the robot? You said that, something about the Ukraine situation now, and then I talked about the robot thing.
Yeah, the question was, I haven't seen all that much of what's going on in the last year or a year and a half in Ukraine. So what has changed? I know the Kursk region was a whole thing, but yeah, what else?
Yeah, and isn't that a problem? That most people have no idea what is happening because it's so underreported. Well, many things. Like we have major trouble on the front, in particular with CABs or glide bombs. They are sort of like controlled aviation bombs that are thrown from planes, from jets. And yeah, since we have this restriction limitation that doesn't allow us to hit with long range missiles into Russia, like deep into Russia, we can't really do anything about it. So we just have to take it. And that's what we have been doing. They have been peppering the front and Kharkiv in particular with glide bombs daily. And the numbers are like 4,000, 5,000 per month. Pretty big numbers of bombs they throw. It's also plus Shahed drones and, regular missiles and things like that. So it has been pretty difficult to deal with. They have spent quite a lot of time preparing the huge, large number of these bombs to use them that way, knowing full well that we cannot do anything about it because we are not allowed to hit the archer, so to speak. And taking down the arrow is almost impossible when it comes to glide bombs, especially so close to the front as I am. And that has been a problem. And that made people pretty upset, as you can probably imagine. It's hard not to be when you sit in the corridor and there's a message that glide bombs flying your way gonna hit the particular area you actually live in. And you're like, oh, goody. If only we could, use the weapons we had to beg for a year and a half. And then we got them, but we're not allowed to use them. So the fact that we have them is more of it's more of an insult than it is help, if you think about it that way. And yeah, that have been a pretty big hit on morale of both the population and the civilians and the people on the front as well, I'd say. And yeah, that also brings us back why people are not extremely upset about Trump right now. Because most people, if you actually talk with them, were of the opinion that America already has abandoned us. And they just thought that Harris wouldn't be that much better. So we did actually Ukrainians react video with Dylan in Kiev. And most people who were there said that they don't think that Harris would have been any different than Biden. Basically status quo situation. So they spoon feed us aid at first, but then basically nothing, and the restriction will not be lifted. And, it's just nobody really expected it to help that much. But in my opinion, it's their mistake because there is a big difference between being given very little and being given absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And being blackmailed as well. So that's my opinion on the matter, but I'm just trying to explain the majority opinion of Ukrainians in general. Yeah, that's about it.
Fucked. It kind of shows you that people learn from the past. I mean, there's a different world where Putin hates America so much that he ends up just fucking himself by angering America as well. But the fact that he's just decided to make friends with the right people in America, with Trump and Elon Musk, that's actually can you imagine if fucking Hitler had actually just befriended the isolationist wing of America in the war and not declared war in America and not did Pearl Harbor? Fuck, Europe, we'd always speak in German. That's what he say, isn't it? Fuck.
Yes, I mean, sort of, but with Hitler, he was a little bit I think more cookie.
Yeah.
So to speak, than Putin. And also he was, Nazis, they tend to be like, not that great in making friendos in a sense, because but here also they didn't really partake in hybrid warfare as much, because they relied so heavily on actual military might. But with Russia, their military might is much less effective than their hybrid warfare. So them using like KGB, KGB, I think, yeah, right, in English, tactics, using like old Soviet tactics, using the chaos and, affect particular people to, cause division inside countries, buy off politicians, by make their own candidates, win, intervene with the elections, make candidates that they want and that will further their interest, get into power in the West and in Europe and now in America. Unfortunately, weird timeline, but it is what it is. And that works for them. That works for them, and that worked for them pretty much always. And they have been getting away with it for decades, even in modern times. So why wouldn't they use it? It works.
What do you think about Trump's prospective peace plan for Ukraine?
Well, that's just Russian plan, word for word, essentially. The thing they want the most is basically do a sort of like a Chechnya scenario. So first war in Chechnya, if anyone knows, they kind of lost in a sense that they couldn't really achieve any of their goals. They were getting insane losses of people, of equipment, of like literally everything. So it wasn't really going well for them. So they ended up putting like sort of freezing the conflict and making so-called peaceful agreement that you can wipe your ass with because it's Russian, and doesn't mean anything. And then in a couple of years, they just attacked again. And this time Chechnya fell. Specifically because while they were at the freezing stage, they dedicated their war machine, and they're a big country with like huge amount of people and obviously a much stronger economy than Chechnya or than Ukraine, and Chechnya is much smaller than Ukraine, but the point is that they have advantage there. And they then produced insane amount of equipment, were extremely well prepared, and they did it on the second try. And that's their best aim now as well. That's the best case scenario for them. And that seems to be the plan of Trump and Pence as well, to essentially talk to Russia behind our backs without us even including us. So kind of like people did in intra-Afghan negotiations when America kind of like talked with Taliban without like, Afghanistan government being like partaking in it at all. I think they did similar things to Palestinians as well, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not like as well versed on that. You probably will know better. But point is, just don't really care about Ukraine in that conversation. Just basically talk over us and then pressure us to acquiesce to do what Russia wants. So pressure us by cutting off aid, and also pressure us by blackmailing or pressuring Europe as well to not give us anything as well, which weirdly enough, even like Biden administration kind of did a little bit. For example, UK said they will allow us to use Storm Shadow missiles on Russia, and then they changed their mind after United States pressured them. So they can do it because they have quite a lot of influence and power, obviously, still. And to put us in that sort of situation where we are forced to basically to agree with anything, because our prospects would be so grim that we won't be able to say anything against that. And then it will be a freezing of the conflict. They also don't want us to go to NATO, obviously, because Russian security concerns, of course. And so in that case, of course, what is left to us is, well, nothing, really. Nobody will invest in Ukraine because it's a potential, but it's still a war zone. It's still a potential, disaster city in 5-6 years. there would be any like proper restoration plans for us as well, because who would want to invest in a country that will be bombed again in 5 years' time or sooner? And we won't be able to get any security guarantees from literally anyone. And even if we do get them, they will be as much useful to us as Budapest Memorandum was, which is not really. And and Russia will use this time to use their full economy to amplify the war machine, to build up glide bombs, tanks, aviation, artillery, everything. Iran will help them, China will help them, North Korea will help them as much as they can. And so we will be in stagnation and trying to lick our wounds and somehow rebuild our broken cities and power plants and absolute disaster shit that is going on right now. And we're barely trying to put it together as is. And that's pretty much what they want. And I have every reason to suspect that that's what Trump wants as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of believe him. I remember there was a time where there were something that he said that made it sound like he was going to like arm the hell out of Ukraine if Putin didn't play ball, but he's kind of abandoned that for the last 2 years. Like now it is all just drag Ukraine to the negotiating table, stop giving them aid. Yeah, like don't know.
I mean, before he was sucking Putin off as much, I thought that maybe, I wasn't sure obviously, but there was like an opinion floating about that he might go like both ways. So he essentially is like Dylan Burns had that opinion as well, that he was like this sort of chaotic sort of guy that you can't really predict what exactly he will do. So he can like fully abandon Ukraine, or he can like be like in the opposite direction, basically be more military angry against Russia and everything, and be more like more like aggressive than Biden was, I guess you could say, in his policy. Don't care about like escalation as much, shit like that. But I really kind of like didn't believe it. But I mean, it was an opinion that was floating about, but I was like pretty convinced that he will be forward in Russian interest. And now I'm like almost like 95% sure that that's what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, he owes a lot to Russia, right? For all the disinformation that they do on his behalf.
Yeah. They did help him out, though, like, with the narratives, with the disinformation, with the basically they're straight up sponsoring people like, Tim Pool and people like that, like who are, avid Trumpists. And it's kind of like the same gang. Like they're all in the same like bathroom, essentially.
Yeah, because even
you think of it.
Even just very recently, there was this statement, a joint statement from the FBI and other security agencies, where they were saying, yeah, there are like Russian actors who are trying to make fake videos about people illegally voting and shit like that. Yeah, it's just they were doing this all the way up until the end, and I have a feeling that they were doing it a lot more now than they were doing it in.
100%. Yeah, it's not a feeling. It's just unless you're blind. But yeah, it's effective in a sense, because if you listen to how those sort of operations are usually planned, it's there is no principle there, no ideology really. There's just, you kind of pick up the most sore subjects in the country, right? So you pick up the most toxic points, you pick up the most like provocative things, people that subjects and problems, issues that elicit emotional reaction from the local people, divisive subjects essentially. So you pick them up and you just amplify the fuck out of them. And that's how you get the border crisis thing. They would like even look at it that way. They will see like, what are they talking about, right? In this particular country, what is what are the issues? What people are most mad about? And then you pick it and you amplify it and you use like a megaphone to make it even worse. And that's what they did.
Shit.
Yeah, indeed. Well, shit situation over here. I don't know exactly what we will do. Like, I have no idea. I was a little bit doomer already for months because of the restrictions and limitations and the problems on the front. Lost a lot of people as well who I was interacting with regularly as a volunteer. So that wasn't good essentially. But I was kind of hopeful that maybe Americans will, despite it all, choose better. But since it didn't happen, now I'm not sure exactly, to be honest.
I mean, I guess the real consolation is that like nothing ever happens. Like things are usually they're usually bad, but they're not as bad as you expect them to be. But that's not really.
Well, in Ukraine, they are much worse than you expect them to be.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. You actually expect better than what you get. That's how we live, So in the West, I think what you said is true. I don't think it will be as much of a. I do think it might affect make people even more brain dead and rot institutions and democracy from within. Introduce much more corruption as well. In the United States, which is not good. Obviously, it's pretty fucking destructive. But it's not anywhere near as dramatic as the effect will be in other places, in particular Ukraine and Israel, Palestine. But maybe more if something pops up, like Taiwan or some shit.
Yeah, and even internally, there are kind of issues because I know that one thing that might happen with Musk and Trump is that they're both just such massive attention whores that there might be some kind of like rift between those two because people who see themselves as center stage tend to not always get along. Like I don't know.
But you can't deny that Elon very timely bought Twitter. It was a very timely event.
Wasn't it? Didn't some of the funding
Russian,
for that come from Russian oligarchs? Yeah, two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, his buddy. Yeah, he's like multimillionaire who helped him buy Twitter, essentially. Purely coincidence.
That's like one of the biggest social media platforms in the United States for political discourse. Trump goes to Twitter before he goes to mainstream media, or he goes to Twitter before he gives a fucking conference.
Coincidence. It's coincidence. It's just coincidental. Elon was just worrying about free speech, okay? You just don't understand. He just wanted to have free speech. Never mind the fact that, the entire platform became a megaphone for Russia sympathizers and for far-right and MAGA and, Nazis and all sorts of cunts. Never mind that. And the fact that Russian bots started to be probably like 70% of that platform is Russian bots now. So never mind that, but otherwise he just wanted free speech.
Mm-hmm. No big deal, man.
Yeah, but I actually didn't know because I wasn't on Twitter or any social media really before 22. So I wasn't really an expert, but I never knew that it was such a big platform for news, especially in the United States. So that also makes extra sense now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen polls where people where people see Twitter as their first source of news. Like even when I wake up and look for news stories, like Twitter sometimes is the quickest place to get it from. Yeah, if you have the right channels, you can get all your fucking stories of the day from Twitter before you'll get them from New York Times, Washington Post. So. Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that I didn't really know it. And well, all of that combined, I mean, it's pretty fucking clear, okay, what had happened. And I just was hopeful, I guess, that I don't know, it just seemed to me like the people in the United States will not be as easily swayed and as easily easy prey, okay, for Russian propaganda. But unfortunately, they seems to be the biggest fucking prey. I also think they're very vulnerable in a way because they haven't ever, I think, been such a massive attack on them in terms of propaganda or foreign malicious sort of propaganda. And I do think that many people didn't took it seriously at all, and they still don't. And it really shows. And especially with alternative media, so-called alternative media, and people who present themselves as independent, quote unquote, thinkers that are, it's just their opinion, They aren't part of any party or anything like Tim Pool, supposedly. And then you just find out that they have been spewing the the propaganda of the enemy foreign country that has been paying him literally millions. So yeah, and people have been slurping that shit as if he is an independent thinker, you know. So yeah, that didn't help, I imagine. And people are so amplified, amped to like hate certain things. Like when they bring up the Trumpists bring up like illegal alien invasion on the border, and they talk about it in a way as if they're actually invaded by another country, you know, or they talk about like transports or some shit. Like, let's be for real, like nobody would give a fuck about that shit if it wasn't amplified to such an insane degree. And I'm not saying like it doesn't matter, obviously, but it's such a people ask me all the time, what about trans shit? And I'm like, why am I supposed to give a fuck? It's like below 1%, whatever even my opinion is, on it. Just why am I supposed to care about it as much for that to determine my vote? If I was you, I wouldn't. Like, who cares? There are much more important fucking things, but people are swayed by things like that.
When you remember that even the spokespersons, like people like Matt Walsh, think it's happening to millions of kids and shit, even after he did a documentary about it, So what do you think the voters think? The voters think it's happening to hundreds of millions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what Russia does as well. It amplifies the even minute things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things to such a degree that it becomes like the constant thought in people's heads, right? And they are so like they're genuinely like terrified. That fear mongering actually works. People are like 100% convinced that I don't know, millions of illegal Mexicans are going through the border every day. It becomes like a real feeling. It's not just because it's bullshit doesn't mean they don't believe it or feel it. So that's where the shit is popping off. Okay. It seems, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I also felt a little bit sad watching it's not your like anyone's fault obviously, but I watched your reaction to the elections. You have been there, with Destiny, and it wasn't like, it was a bit upsetting. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not your fault. I'm not trying to like blame you for anything, but people were just so like, I don't know, chill, and actually like, I don't know, it just seemed wild that I know people care about it, but it really wouldn't like affect them as much, and they know it, especially like rich people, right? And yeah, but you sit here and you think like, oh fuck me, dude, this like might mean the entire basically destruction of my country. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's never, for a commentator, it's not so much the effect that it has on you personally. Like, it might even help you career-wise because you get more to talk about. But it's like, yeah, it affects people it affects your friends, and it affects like people who you don't know massively. So
yeah,
I mean, it goes to show that I guess like people, because if everyone like people, some people say that everyone's self-interested, like everyone's just in it for their immediate like material gain. But if that were true, like no one with fucking money and who makes content would support the Democrats. Like, why the fuck would you? There's so much more incentive to support Trump. But
taxes and shit, right?
Yeah, taxes,
lower taxes,
or even if you oppose him, you might still want him to win because there's more content there. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just the worst thing is I understand like exactly why people that are Trump supporters voted. Obviously, there are plenty of reasons, and they've been hyped the fuck out. And I sincerely think that most of them don't even understand. They're like essentially trying to elect, or not trying to, sorry, elected by this point, basically a wannabe dictator and someone that I would consider fascistic. I'm pretty sure they don't know. Like most people don't even understand that and don't accept that. And when you bring up what he did and what he was doing, they will just say, "I'm sorry, I just don't feel that way." Fuck me, dude.
Well, the problem with calling it fascism is just that fascism to most people just means bad thing, and it also means people who fought against America. But no, like at one time, before anyone knew what fascism really meant, they called themselves fascists because people like that. They called themselves the fascist party in Italy, and people like that. But obviously now it's just
okay.
Yeah.
I want I made that point many times, actually. I want those guys. I want Nazis that call themselves Nazis. I want fascists that call themselves fascists. Commies that call themselves commies.
Mhm.
I want all those people back because it's so annoying.
I mean, they
It's
kind
just,
of
it's
they
just
say it
this.
in their own way, though, right? Because I think when a Republican says we're not a democracy, we're a republic, they're saying that because they
Yeah,
don't like democracy, because they're okay with getting rid of democracy. They don't think we need it. We don't think we
yeah,
need people to
they want
vote. Yeah.
authoritarianism.
Hmm.
And yeah, but when you say that's like, so you're like a fascist, right? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
big offense. Yeah, also I blame leftists, to be honest, because they
Yeah.
kind of ruined this word altogether. Yeah, but yeah, well, this I kind of understand, but people I genuinely fucking despise and hate even more than these cunts, because they are partially brainwashed, and that's kind of sad. But why didn't they go vote? People who are voted for Biden, Democrats, people like that, leftists. Where the fuck were they?
The one
That's the question,
it's
right?
yeah, because it seems to be there were a few like I don't think it's 15 million because they're still counting votes, but it's probably around 10 million, maybe
It's a
a bit
big
more.
number.
Yeah, it's a
It's a,
lot.
it's a big number that could have changed things in favor of Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So
I don't know how
so
it
what the
worked, but I think
fuck?
with COVID, I think people got mail-in ballots, so it was easier to vote. I think like because you had a ballot sent to you and you could just fill out and do your thing. But
Excuse
otherwise,
me. Well, one day of the year, in 4 years, you can't move your ass to go
yeah,
vote.
most people don't give a fuck. Yeah, that's the truth. Unfortunately, in a country like America, most people don't give a fuck. Yeah, and also just because I guess like people had a lot of reason to want Trump out because of his response to COVID, and because I don't know, even just because COVID happened, I think if there's a catastrophe or a crisis big enough, it doesn't matter who caused it. Even if Trump did everything right with COVID, I think he still would have suffered the consequences for it. Same with 2008, because whichever party did the right thing in dealing with that crash, in the immediate sense, they're still blamed for it because people are like that. Like people they see what's happening in their life and it's like, well, do I want the person who's
Yeah.
different from this thing that just happened to us or the same? And I think for Harris, it was just inflation. I think that kept people at home who would
Yeah.
otherwise vote for her, and I think a lot of independents who just don't care enough about vibe checking the pair of them. Some
Can we
leftists, I don't
appreciate
think.
the people like I don't know her name, but she had like red hair, I think, and she was on the thing
Amaranth.
with you and oh
Yeah.
yeah. So can I appreciate people like that? Because she's like, well, it doesn't matter to me. I didn't vote because I'm rich as fuck, And then she's asked, like, what about abortion, though? Like, what do you think about that? And she's like, well, I'm pro-choice, obviously. And you're like,
Hmm.
excuse me, bitch. Like, what is this selfishness? I don't know. I can understand stupid. Okay, I can understand many things. Like even malicious evil, I can understand. But this selfish carelessness is just beyond. Do you not care about like poor woman in your country that cannot go to another state or another country to do abortion? There's just no care there at all. It's just that to me is just absolutely mind-boggling. I understand many things, but those people I will never get.
Yeah, it's a bit baffling.
It's like the most I don't know. Just how do you become that way? Is it just being extremely rich? Is
Or
it
maybe
just
that's the
that?
mindset that makes you extremely rich. But it's I don't know. I think a lot of people will do destructive things or they'll behave in a certain way, but they can only learn the hard way, like when it affects them.
No.
Whether that's
Yes.
with
Yes.
like I'm sure it exists. Like there are probably some people who like they turn 18 or 19 and they have like fucking unprotected sex for a while until like something happens and then they're like, oh shit, even though they knew.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
Yeah.
like fucking people with the way that they consume like drugs and alcohol, like they might do it like really irresponsibly until they realize, or people might like someone might turn up late for work like every day even though they know it's going to cause problems, but then it's only when they get fired with like shit, like I'm going to turn up on time now. Yeah, some people are like that. Some people just are like fucking like animals. Like I don't know, but I don't even know.
Yes.
we are animals, so yeah, it's like but it's just also
Yeah, you're
to see that
correct, yeah.
on the other fucking end where you've got Elon Musk going on Joe Rogan show saying you need to vote, otherwise they're going to naturalize the illegal immigrants and it's going to be the end. It's like, fuck me, bro. Like they motivated whoever they could, you know?
Oh yeah, they were energized to say the least. Well,
but even then, Trump didn't get more votes. Trump didn't get more votes this time than 2020, right?
Yes, that's my point. The less of the Democrats showed up, not the more of the MAGAs. That's on them. That's their fault. So yeah. Anyhow, I hope they're happy. The worst thing is that it wouldn't really affect them as much, but I hope they at least feel somewhat guilty when they see the effects that this will cause in the world.
Kamala did have an offer to go on Joe Rogan. People keep saying this, but you understand the difference. People can never appreciate how unbalanced this is. If Kamala went on Joe Rogan and I think like people say that he would have been nice or whatever. I think Joe Rogan would have tried to destroy her. I think he would have tried to catch her on some niche fact or some talking point that she wouldn't have known the answer to and tried to like berate her over it, or like he did when he had CNN on. When he had that CNN guy on, he hyper focused on one particular instance where CNN like did something. I think they lied about his position on ivermectin or some shit. And he went full on with it. He endorsed Trump. Yeah, he loves Trump. Yeah, if she went on, Trump can go on and say that fucking wind turbines are the reason for whales dying, and Joe will be like, yeah, because whales are sensitive to small vibrations. Don't mind the fact that we've been drilling into the heart of the earth for fucking 100 years. But Kamala would say one wrong thing, and it would go fucking viral on the Russian fucking news network of Twitter. It's, you don't understand how unbalanced this fucking playing field is, okay?
Yeah, he would be like trolling antagonistic, not like hostile, obviously, but like more of a, trying to pick basically at her. While with Trump, it was like, blowjob fest, essentially.
Yeah, because after all the pandering and after all the fucking voters still said that Kamala was too progressive in large part. I think it was like 40-something% said that she was too progressive. I don't know.
I like how leftoids are now screeching that she lost because she wasn't progressive enough. Meanwhile, the entirety of the rest of the people called her Marxist.
Yeah.
It's a little bit funny if you think about it. Leftoids are like, if only she was an open commie, she would have won, She would have energized the Hassan base.
Yeah, America loves communism. They love it. It makes them really happy.
Yes, and you're like, damn, dude. Like, why are you keeping being Delulu like 24/7? I mean, there are leftists though, so I don't know. They must be, Yeah. Anyhow. Oh, by the way, I never really interacted much with MAGA on Twitter, simply because people who were harassing Ukrainians online are usually leftists. Mm-hmm. And I like rightoids, like Trumpists, they don't care. Like the most prominent thing they think about Ukraine is that they don't give a fuck. Like some are like super pro-Russian, yes. Some are like very, brainwashed into like Azov, and that Zelensky is a secret agent of Zion or some shit. All of that obviously exists, but most of them just genuinely don't give a fuck. They just don't want the money to go to Ukraine, and that's their whole shtick, right? So they're isolationists, essentially.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get any much from them, like no interactions. But on the day of the election, since I posted about, Trump, I got so much. Like I got replies, I got DMs, I got emails, I got on Reddit, on Twitter, on Discord, on like Gmail, like everywhere. And dude, the messages I got could actually somehow be in a contest with the communists. That's how bad they were. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, most were in the realm of something like this. I hope it doesn't get you banned or something.
That's okay.
But yeah, but most of them were in the realm like of something like this. You will not get a single penny now. Trump will cut aid to Ukraine, and your country will be bombed from the face of the earth, and you will be a new term I learned from them: rape meat for Russians. And I was like, rape meat? I was like, it took me a minute to actually understand.
Wow.
And that was essentially the theme. Most of them were like, you will get no more money, you will stop stealing our money, and you will, get fucked by Russia, go trad and based Christian leader Putin, that sort of thing. And a lot of like gang rape and rape meat and, things like that. So that was funny.
Pro peace, eh? Pro peace.
Can you say it again?
They're the pro peace
yeah.
party, yeah.
Extremely peaceful. They were like, we just, how the politicians were like, remember, they were like, we just want Ukrainians and Russians to stop dying. Like, Trump is like, so many people are dying, that. And you're like, yeah, I can see you're very concerned for our well-being. I can tell, okay? I don't know what was holding them up. Like, they got unleashed, it seems. To show all their rape gang fantasies to Ukrainians on the day the Trump won.
Yeah, I mean, like how many people are admitting now that January 6th actually was a fucking MAGA riot to destroy the Capitol that was partially incited by Trump? Yeah, it's just like.
Do they?
Well, Fuentes did anyway. Fuentes has come clean about it. Like he's speaking about it in a way that I've never seen him speak about it before. He's done with it's just, or Matt Walsh with the fucking Project 2025 thing. But again, like there's a more fundamental issue. There's a fundamental issue, which is that, well, Matt Walsh said, I think, can we admit now that 2025 was the agenda all along? Because Trump's whole response to Project 25 was like, I've not read it.
He doesn't
I've
know
deliberately
it.
not read it. I make extra special care not to read it. Like almost as if he's basically saying, I cover my ears and I say, la, 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 I don't know anything about Project 2025. Yeah, it's like, but I mean, now some people are just.
I didn't believe him. I definitely didn't believe that. So I'm not surprised. Yeah. I mean, they will be doing like mask off shit, a little bit, because they were probably worried about spooking some people away with that shit, which probably was not very. I don't even know if they needed to be worried about it, considering how radicalized and unhinged their base is. But yeah.
But that's just. But the problem is that that's just part of the discourse now. Like clearly, the country is okay with like this level of inconsistency. It's okay with someone. It's okay with someone who didn't support the results of an election. That's a more like I don't know if the result. Like I think without the inflation crisis, I don't think the result would have been the same, or it would have been much closer at least. But it still doesn't take away the fact that this many people in the country are okay with so many things that are just, they're not what the country was founded on. It's like, it's not like liberal democracy is just not what a lot of people in the country want. And they're okay with that. Like they might not like being called fascists or Nazis or whatever, because they're fucking snowflakes, but I think they want all the things that are embodied by those things, right? They want isolationism, but also for some reason at the same time as being quite hawkish. Like, cause Trump was both. He was hawkish and he was isolationist. For somehow, or they're okay with really regressive like social values, or like limiting abortion rights and all these kind of freedoms, or they're okay with someone who doesn't really respect democracy when he loses. They want someone who talks about using the fucking military against their opponents, or they want someone who sees immigrants as poisoning the blood of the nation, or they want to deport potentially even people who are here legally, or they want to take away protections from illegal immigrants. So or for the kids of illegal immigrants with DACA. So yeah, like that is a much more fundamental issue, is that America just has that thing. They're okay with a lot of things that most countries in the world, like in the liberal progressive world, are not okay with. If you ran the American election in any other European country, Trump would lose by a fucking landslide. Even in like fucking Italy, So
Yeah, thank you actually, by the way, for saying that, because that's what I have been saying to my friends who are, have been so 100% certain that Harris will win. And they are now super depressed. So, I mean, like, Dylan and Devin, friends of mine who are American. And I was bringing up to their attention that Trump is not a problem, just like Putin isn't. I mean, it's not all the problem. It is a problem, obviously, but that's not the population is the problem. You have half the country that is okay with things he says, does, and promises, and with things he did do. That's the most important thing, because they're not as stupid as you think they are. They know exactly what he said. They're okay with it. They may make the excuses, they may lie, they may, try to spin his words some way, but in their heads, most of them know. They're just cool with that. That's what they want as well. So, and Destiny debated with people that proved that, because he would be like, oh, like you want like a fascist or something like a, and they're like, no, I don't know, what are you talking about? And then he will bring up like, you only trust Trump, right? Like all these institutions are corrupt, everything is corrupt, and they're like, yeah, you only want him to be the one to making decisions, and you think media lies about him, and only Trump tells the truth. And the guy's like, yeah. And then next question, and then Destiny finishes this with like, so you want essentially a fucking dictator. You want Trump to be, and he's like, well, yeah, I guess. So basically there was like an aversion, right, to the word dictator or fascist. But then when he started like explaining the bits of it, it turned out that, yeah, in fact, that dude actually did want it. Maybe their next stage would be, was fascism actually that bad though? That might be the next step. I don't know. We shall see. Yeah. It's kind of Russian, it reminds me of Russians, I'm sad to say, because it's like this level of Delulu and this level of cultism. Because, for example, the infamous Green Man in Crimea, I don't know how much you know about the situation, but that was basically Russian military, right? That was in Crimea, that annexed it and was there present. And Putin, when he was asked, he was denying presence of Russian military there for a good amount of time, for like 3-4 months at least. And then the entire country was like, eating that up, that he's saying there are no Russian military there, there's no Russian presence there. And then he just blatantly says, yeah, that was our military there, that was our soldiers, they were there and they did it. And the entire country didn't give a fuck that he lied to their face. Because most of them knew he was lying to their face. That's why. And they were cool with it, as long as it brought the results they want, which was Crimea to be part of Russia. And that's, as doomer as that is MAGA, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. Like the next couple of weeks are just going to be people inventing all their own reasons about like, oh, basically this thing that personally means something to me, regardless of the data, is the reason that it happened. It's like this fucking Christopher Dick in chat. The ignorant labeling of opponents as fascist in part explains why the Democrats lost. Yeah, you were going to say that regardless of what happened. You understand that, right? Because Trump didn't gain voters since 2020. You can look at the numbers. Trump did not gain voters. It's not like Democrats called Republicans fascists and a bunch of people got fucking sad and went to Trump. Democrats didn't turn out their own. What, you think there were Democrats who just stayed at home because they were like, oh, I don't know, too many people who, like I prefer the Democrats, but too many Democrats are calling Trump fascist. I don't know, I'm not going to vote. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not the issue. Democrats not turning out is not going to be caused by fucking people calling Trump a fascist. You fucking retard. Anyway, Trump called Biden a fascist. Trump said that Biden was the fucking Gestapo for the DOJ going after him for committing crimes. Oh, why did Trump not lose? Almost as if elections happen not for the reason that matters the most to you in your fucking personal life, because someone called you a fascist 1 year ago and you're still fucking sad about it. You're a fucking retard anyway.
By the way, impress. Like, I don't know, like, embrace it. I feel sad for those people. Why can't they embrace the fascism? Like, you know, you want an authoritarian regime, you want traditional values, you're anti-LGBT, you want like you're against abortion, you want to control like you know women's reproductive rights. I mean, all of that and more and more and more. I can go on. You want the power to be concentrated in the hands of one person, essentially. And all of that, you want that. It's all good. Just say it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are
Don't
you all
worry,
such
these men are
such
cowards.
bitch
Okay,
boys?
listen, these men are cowards. They
Yeah,
never will. Okay.
yeah. 21st century men are weak. They can't even admit their sad times. Honestly, again reminds me of Russia when they're like, we are fighting against Nazis in Ukraine with Wagner. You're like, oh, like it's very postmodernist, 21st century aesthetic, I suppose. Yeah, miss the
No.
good old Nazis. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, I probably should go. Sorry if it wasn't any optimism to you and to the guys that are listening, but it's hard to find any. So yeah.
Okay. Well.
And are you about to anything else, me?
No,
I can
no.
sense
I'm
that
just.
energy.
It was nice talking to you. I don't talk to you that often anymore, so it's good. It's a nice surprise.
That's true. It's been a while since we talked, but I wish we could talk about something more pleasant. But you know,
It's okay.
the events.
Trump will do something stupid in a week, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean,
He
I'm
gets
always
sentenced
happy
this
to
month.
chat.
He's gonna get sentenced. He's gonna, I don't know, have to pay
Oh, what about that, by
$100
the
for
way?
the fucking for the hush money.
What about that though? Like his like convictions, sentences.
Well,
What's happened with that?
so there are
Like,
4 cases against Trump. One has already been done. He's been found guilty for the manipulating campaign funds to pay off Stormy Daniels, the porn star story. So that
based.
he's going to get convicted this month. He's going to get sentenced this month. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the other
So he
ones
has
are
been
all
like
in.
admitted to be guilty, right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like guilty of it,
He's been found guilty.
officially.
Yeah, he's been found guilty. He's going to get sentenced this month. Yeah. The other ones, they're just going to get dropped. So there's one about the fucking stolen documents for Mar-a-Lago. That's probably not going to go anywhere. And the other 2 are about January 6th. One is about Georgia. One is about him trying to manipulate the election results in Georgia, and the other one is about the actual January 6th, the Capitol insurrection. So they're not going anywhere. Like, yeah, they're fucked. He'll probably pardon
the only
everyone
one
involved as well. He'll pardon Giuliani. He'll pardon fucking. Well, it depends because some of them are state crimes, but so he can't pardon himself for the hush money because that's a state case. It would have to be the New York governor who pardons him there. But everything else, he'll just pardon himself or shut it down or whatever. Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Great. We love people that are criminals, corrupt fucks breaking the law, trying to stay in power, that keep pardoning their cronies and themselves, and forwarding corruption, lawlessness, and third world energy into America. Exactly what we all want. Who doesn't like that? Okay, that's why we live here in such a great conditions. Okay.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm about to drink and chill and try to not think about much of anything. Whatever your plan is, good luck with that. Yeah. Bye bye.
I'll probably become a fucking expert I'll become a scholar in Trump's crimes that aren't going to go anywhere. But
scholar in Trump.
I mean, it looks like the cases are going to get dropped by the DOJ. So, fuck it.
We still need a scholar though.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, kind of funny. You say scholar in English, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I would say школяр, but this is the same word.
Oh.
It always gets me confused because we have a lot of words that are similar to Latin words, but they are pronounced in a different way. So it always makes me. I have many of those, but I always say them wrong because I'm used to saying them the way we say it.
Cute.
Yeah. Helicopter, for example, is the one.
Okay.
It's the same word. Yeah, it's a helicopter. Same word exactly, but said in a different way.
Wow.
Always fucks me up. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, good luck with your day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
And yeah, you have a good one,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, take care.
The New York Times writes overnight that Harris campaign aides are growing more bullish on her chances of winning the election, writing this, quote, Ms. Harris's aides believe the argument tying Mr. Trump to fascism is helping her sway moderate Republicans, even though the leading super PAC supporting her bid has raised worries that it's not the Democrats' most effective message. So perhaps that's why, just 1 week out from Election Day and with polls continuing to show a deadlocked race, the former president felt the need to say this.
They use that.
The Democrat strategy of using lawfare against Trump is another contributing factor to his electoral success. You're so fucking dishonest. Like, oh, okay, yeah. I guess you just, if a president commits a crime, if a foreign president commits a crime, you're not supposed to pursue it. Just don't do it. Because it'll be seen as political. I'm sorry, I thought we were the party of law and order here. Sorry, excuse me for supporting the party of law and order where the candidate wasn't a criminal, where the candidate actually prosecuted criminals. Excuse me for wanting to go after criminals for committing crimes. That's fucking crazy, bro.
Word freely, both words. They use it. He's Hitler. And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi. I don't know.
What, a communist?
A lot of
Responded to Harris by saying she's a fascist, okay? She's a fascist. Man, I don't know. Christopher Dick, tell me about this. How do you do that? That's a fucking... I thought if you call your opponents a fascist, you lose. But apparently Trump can accuse Biden of having the fucking Gestapo, DOJ, because they went after him for committing crimes. But somehow he did that, but he also won. It's almost as if no one fucking cares about who gets called a fascist in the United States. Jesus Christ. Okay. Didn't look like Harris had enough time for people to know her. I think it was all inflation. I think it was always going to happen because of inflation. Sorry. Simple as. Don't overcomplicate things. Maybe if Biden had kept his marbles, the incumbent advantage might have helped more. Maybe. 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 Hello, Lauren De Laguna. Woo. Read your donos. It's all just going to be people saying, oh, I can't believe... What, really? You, I don't even know. Niche issues. It's auto lose if you call your opponent a fascist. Unless Trump does it. I fucking hate you guys. You guys are the worst human beings. Nachula, thanks for the €2 for your escape plan from the US. Good luck. It's okay. I've got my escape plan. Don't worry. Newman, thanks for the 6.99 Canadian. Loved seeing you in the election stream, but Vadim was the true MVP. Don't disagree. Soul Joe, thanks for the 10 Hong Kong dollars. All comments about Trump must mention Hitler now. Okay. Cordial Cephalopod, thanks for the tier 2 sub. Soul Joe, thanks for the 25 Hong Kong dollars. How did Trump win? Lonostradamus. That's a very shoehorned, what do you call it? Portmanteau. It's more like a portman-no. Paul BG, thanks for the $10. Did you see Trump's alleged plan for Ukraine? Yeah, we covered that. Loris, thanks for the $2 for the €2. Sorry, euros, far superior to dollars. Are euros still worth more than dollars, or is it balanced out? Bong, indeed. Souljo, thanks to 25 Hong Kong dollars. I got that Neuralink treatment. Then my hand started moving towards the Trump button. I couldn't help it. Many such cases, you know. Listen, I'm just saying, you guys. I've been seeing a lot of Project Veritas videos. Okay, a lot of Twitter videos going around of irregular activity at the polling centers. Okay, don't mind the fact that they've all stopped posting that kind of shit as soon as Trump won. But no. Anyway. Don't mind that suddenly the process is fine, guys. Suddenly there's no issues. You know, what are you talking about? What? This is the United States of America, bro. People, you think we would have a corrupt voting system in 2024? Hell no. Chrono, thanks to $10. Too bad on the loss. Here's some freshly printed Trump dollars to help with the 20% tariffs you'll get in the UK. Oh yeah, God, man, as a British citizen, I can't wait. I can't wait to pay the tariffs in the UK, because that's how that works. Dwayne, thanks for $10. Did you hear that Piers is fussing that it took Kamala 12 hours from Trump declaring victory? Pierce, yeah, I'm just rereading donos. It's okay. Too big to rig. I'm gonna kill myself. They don't care. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. Too big to rig. Bro, Biden won by 7 million votes. What do you mean too? I thought the claim now. Wait, fuck you. Sorry. I'm not letting people get away. It's not fucking funny. Sorry, why am I doing this? Why am I letting people get away with this fucking meme? Because otherwise, intelligent people who are not bad at chess are actually quite good at chess, you know? Lauren De La Good. But I just don't understand this fucking, like, why politics turn people into just the most ultimate retards. Like, too big to rig. Where's the fucking graph? Hang on. I thought... Too big to rig. Where's the fucking graph? It's everywhere. Here we go. I thought the fraud produced 15 million Democrat votes. What, too big to rig? Did Trump win the popular vote by 15 million? Bro, we only need like maybe like 1 or 200,000 in a few swing states and they got it. You think this is too big to rig? All the Democrats needed to do was produce another couple of fucking, maybe like another million votes across the board or even less? Fuck, kill yourself. Jesus Christ. Too big to rig. Meanwhile, I don't care if people are trolling. Some people are serious when they say that. That's like a slogan now. Crazy at 20 million votes less than in 2020. I love how the number keeps changing. First of all, I thought it was supposed to be 15 million, but they haven't finished counting the votes. Yeah, crazy how people turned out more when the incumbent went through fucking COVID and fucked COVID and had the fucking highest death rate in the world, or one of the highest. Bro, crazy how that incident got more people to vote for the fucking opposition. That's mental, chat. That's unbelievable. I'm getting trolled. It's okay. It's also crazy how they produced 15, 20 million, 40 million Democrat voters in COVID, but they also managed to convince all the fucking Republican legislatures and the Republican run fucking states to confirm that the votes were legitimate, that they managed to get Trump supporting Republican legislatures, and they also convinced Trump's legal team to come out with the most dog shit fucking theories about voter fraud that they admitted to lying about. It's amazing how they did that. It's amazing how they managed to produce that many votes, but also convince everyone who was on Trump's side to basically either go against him, or for the ones who were on his side to produce the shittest fucking evidence, and for his fucking Supreme Court picks to shoot down that evidence. Bruh. Isn't this is illegal right now. This level of fucking bullshit. Because isn't Trump in his third term now? Because he didn't lose the last election? He's oh god. Why is Trump running for a third term, bro? That's not allowed. We need lefty QAnon. That's what we need. Why not? Why can't we say that it's actually Starlink that's killing the whales? There's no evidence for it, but that doesn't matter, does it? What if you get another pandemic with RFK in charge of health? Memes. That's what it'll be. Huge memes. Starlink is eating the dogs. South African space lasers. Just wait, the next wildfire? We're blaming South African illegal immigrant billionaire space lasers. What's Ethan saying? Let's go back to a familiar place. I need to do my donos. Hang on. We need to go to a more familiar place though, okay? What has Hassan Piker been saying? One minute. Giorgio of Sparta, thanks for the $4.99. Not to disrupt, but I'm a US law student. I feel vaguely disheartened by this election about my career choices. Should I be reconsidering my career? Why, as a law student? Don't Republicans... What? I think in America, there's always going to be someone who wants to sue someone. What are you talking about? You think Trump's going to impose like Ottoman Empire standards where no one is allowed to bring charges against a fucking Republican? The Democrats will become the Jews. If we had Republican persecution complex, that would be a thing, but we don't, so we're not really allowed to go that way. All right. SL, thanks to $5. Boxman, got any spare hopium for your boy, or is America hosed? Nothing ever happens. I think the real impact that Trump will have will be on the rest of the world. I'm leaning towards him not doing the tariffs, at least for the first couple of years. I think he'll just carry on with Biden's economic plan. But again, I just don't know how fucking mental he is, so he might do it anyway. He did say he'll do it on day one, right? Or he might just make them less than he said he would. Because he could just tariff like a couple of things. like last time. We could just do a limited, or even just tariff China. But, you know. What am I looking at? United States stuff in the region. Oh, yeah. I can talk to you about that soon, Sundowner. Don't worry. Where's my fucking super chats? All right. Uber, thanks for $5. I think one of the reasons the youth voting was so high in 2020 was because mail-in ballots were delivered without request in more states because of COVID. Yeah, I think... I don't know. It's just that... I think it's a combination of that and, yeah, like Trump was an incumbent and something happened that he didn't have all the control over. He also made pretty bad decisions about COVID. America, unlike with inflation, by the way, America did not outperform the rest of the G7 in dealing with COVID. They did outperform the rest of the G7 when it came to inflation, but, you know, it's still, like, things like that are just too big for incumbents to deal with electorally. Thanks for the $4.99. Do you think Trump's ego would let him groom Vance to take over after him? I think that seems to be the plan, but I don't know, maybe if I had to read his mind, I would probably suggest that he'd want a Trump to take over, no? I think the voters would be fine with that. Baron Trump. And he's got the name Baron, you know, it's like, it sounds like hereditary. It sounds like... It sounds like a thing a monarch would. It sounds feudal. He's got a feudal name, and he looks feudal as well. Because Soljo, thanks for the 25 Hong Kong. Who is this, and how can we support them? Imperialism is about to enter its full stride under Trump. That was Anna, Ukrainian Anna. Laurie, thanks for the €2. Bong, appreciate it. Fallen, thanks for the $4.99. I love hearing from Anna. Sunflower, true. Soljo, thanks for the 25 Hong Kong. We're all in Russia now. In PRK Diva, thanks for the tier 2 sub. Soljo, thanks for the 50 Hong Kong dollars for spread across 2 super chats. To be clear, Trump did pay off a porn star, right? He was actually guilty. Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, and he falsified the documents and fucked out with campaign money to do it. Yeah. And he also pled the fifth 450 times. To be clear, Trump, oh yeah, and nothing ever happens. It's such a British POV. Trump is American and actually does things in the morning. Well, I just don't think he'll do as much as we think he will, you know? Did you guys buy, oh sorry, let's just get some good news. Okay, come on, fuck me. Did you guys not see Lauren Chen getting absolutely fucking destroyed by a Canadian committee? Bro, she wouldn't answer any questions. She got mogged. They don't even... She made like a Fifth Amendment argument even though she was in Canada. So that was funny. Where's the full thing? Lauren, Chen, Canada. There is a full video, right? There's like a full... It's like 1 hour long? Or how long did they have her for? Oh, this might be it.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
Welcome to meeting number 128 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security.
I am here today as required by the summons delivered to me. My understanding is you wish to ask me questions about a subject you are studying with a view of making recommendations as part of your legislative role. After consulting with counsel, both in Canada and the United States, I have concluded on their advice that answering questions from this committee could reasonably provide a, quote, link in the chain toward a possible indictment against me with respect to the above-mentioned or related proceedings. I recognize that the difficulty is that the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution does not apply in Canada. I am aware that I have no right to plead the Fifth before this committee. I've been advised, and I do believe, the one policy reason behind Canada's lack of protection, similar to the American Fifth Amendment, is that Canada has a different form of protection located within Section 13 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which provides that if I testify in proceedings, I have the right not to have any incriminating evidence so given to be used to incriminate me in other proceedings subject to exceptions that would not apply here. This is how the American protection against self-incrimination is not formally recognized in Canada. However, Section 13 of the Charter is not formally recognized in the United States, and so it would not be of assistance to me should I accede to answering any questions. Accordingly, it is with the above considerations in mind that I must indicate that I will not answer any questions posed to me once I appear before this committee. I note in taking this position that Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects me in situations where Section 13 does not apply, where life, liberty, or security interests are at stake. Considering the investigation taking place in respect of Kalashnikov, I verily believe that my refusal to answer questions is lawful and protected under Section 7 of the Charter. I also assert respectfully that in the relatively unique circumstances in which I find myself, Section 2D of the Canadian Bill of Rights, SC 1960 C44, as well as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, to which Canada is a signatory, protect my refusal to testify. Please note that my refusal is contingent solely on my legitimate concerns about possible self-incrimination. Once the investigation has been completed and it is determined that there may be no future proceedings taken against me in respect of that or related matters, I wish that this honorable committee be aware that I would be willing to reattend before it and answer all questions on such issues.
Thank you, Ms. Chen, for being here with us today. Although I'll note that you did not necessarily come willingly, you were summoned. You've outlined to this committee that you've come here and you won't be answering any of our questions. It's quite frustrating for us as committee members to have a witness here for 2 hours who refuses to answer any questions. And of course, you've been called here, as you outlined, in line with the Russian disinformation study that we're currently engaging, and notably because of your involvement in the indictment from the Department of Justice in the United States. And so I've gone through this indictment at length, and I'm deeply concerned about any involvement you and your company, Tenant Media, have had. And I have a number of questions for you. So I hope that you may answer some of them and really service the Canadian institutions that you're here for. And I would just remind you that this is a committee of Parliament. We are members of Parliament at this table. You've been rightfully summoned. And it is your obligation, under my belief and the belief of our committee, that you should be answering these questions. That is the duty that you have to the Canadian institutions that you are here today. That we all work hard. We serve this committee. This is the Public Safety and National Security Committee of Canada. So I'd urge you to reconsider answering our questions. This is a very serious matter that you have engaged in, or allegedly through this indictment. And again, I'd ask that you respectfully engage in a dialogue with us today and answer our questions. So there are a number of issues in here that I'd like to go over with you. But of course, first and foremost, I'd like to ask you, were you directly receiving payments from Russia today to proliferate the propaganda from the Russian government to your North American audience?
For the reasons outlined in my opening statement, I have no comment.
Ms. Chen, again, I'd ask you to reconsider. The allegations in this indictment are very serious, and your reach was quite far. And so I'd ask that you reconsider. Again, I'll ask you perhaps another issue. Are you aware that Canada imposed special economic measures against Russia today in 2022?
For the reasons already given, I will not be answering this question.
Are you aware in 2023
this is the whole thing, by the way. This is the whole thing.
Lack of response to the questions thus far in the committee. The Russian government continues to infiltrate Canadians, is extremely
yeah, we don't care.
Fire of covert projects, end quote, designed to shape public opinion in Western audiences. Why did you choose to be part of one of these covert projects?
For the reasons already given, I have no comment.
Are you aware that your talking points parrot the Russian government's disinformation campaigns?
For the reasons already given, I have no comment.
The funny thing is, as well, is that she's not been indicted yet, right? The indictments were against the Russians, But obviously she was a little bit implicated. Yeah, because she lied. She died. Just saying. Just saying. I learned from the best.
So there are 5 people taking the Fifth Amendment, like you see on the mob, right? You see the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment.
He's practicing here, as you'll find out in a minute.
Horrible. Horrible. When you have your staff taking the Fifth Amendment, taking the Fifth, so they're not prosecuted. When you have the man that set up the illegal server taking the Fifth, I think it's disgraceful.
And the whole meme obviously is Trump invokes the Fifth Amendment 450 times, nearly 450 times. And I think it was 4 hours in the New York Attorney General's civil probe of his business practices. I think unlike Lauren Chen, he did actually answer the question about his name. He did confirm his name was Donald Trump. Lauren Chen did not answer that question. $110 times an hour. It's a pretty solid rate. I don't even know if the entire deposition is up, but there is a sample of it.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Trump. My name is Letitia James, and I'm the Attorney General of the great state of New York. Before we begin, if everyone would please, anything you say in this examination may be used in a civil proceeding, and that could include a civil enforcement proceeding or a criminal action. Do you understand that?
I think.
Is that a yes?
I don't know what I did wrong, but the answer is yes. I do understand.
Thank you.
God, he's so
Finally,
salty.
this investigation is confidential. We request that you not discuss this matter, your testimony here today, and any documents that you have produced or may produce in connection with today's testimony with anyone other than your attorneys. Do you understand that, sir?
No. When you say confidential, we're not allowed to talk about this to the press.
Correct.
I believe what she means is what happened in this room, the details of what happened in this room.
Okay.
Obviously,
okay with me.
Yeah.
The fact that it happened, yes, but not the details.
Okay.
Mr. Trump, what did you do to prepare for today's examination?
You can start to. You can read your statement.
Very little.
Read your statement.
If you'd like, I could read the statement, but very little.
Well,
Excuse me. Read the statement.
can we go?
Yes, he would like.
I will now use my moment to go off the record.
Thank you. Sorry. Just read the statement.
You're going off the record at 9:44 a.m.
Mr. Trump, I understand you have a statement that you wanted to read into the record.
Yes.
Would you please feel free to start at any time?
Thank you very much. This is the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. There has never been another president, or perhaps even another politician, who has been persecuted, harassed, and in every other way unfairly treated like President Donald J. Trump. What Letitia James has tried to do the last number of years is a disgrace to the legal system, an affront to the New York State taxpayers, and a violation of the solemn rights and protections afforded by the United States Constitution. She developed. I once asked, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? I was asking that question. Now I know the answer to that question. When your family, your company, and all the people in your orbit have become the targets of an unfounded, politically motivated witch hunt, supported by lawyers, prosecutors, and even the fake news media, you really have no choice. We cannot permit a renegade and out-of-control prosecutor to use this investigation.
Meanwhile, but I love this. Like, oh yeah, see, I did it, and then it happened to me, and then I realized things were fucked. I understand now. It's different for me. That's basically what he's saying. Meanwhile, what did he say there? Like a frivolous? He didn't say frivolous.
In the Fifth Amendment, I was asking that question. Now I know the answer to that question. When your family, your company, and all the people in your orbit have become the targets of an unfounded, politically motivated...
Yeah, an unfounded, politically motivated. Meanwhile, fucking Hillary Clinton sits through, was it 6 House Republican committees? 6 of them, and cooperated with all of them over Benghazi, and they found out no wrongdoing from her, no impropriety from her, Obama. Bro, I don't think she pled the 5th once. Cucked.
Witch hunt, supported by lawyers, prosecutors, and even the fake news media, you really have no choice. We cannot permit a renegade and out-of-control prosecutor to use this investigation as a means of advancing her political career. New York deserves better, and this country deserves better. This is a vindictive and self-serving fishing expedition, the likes of which this country has perhaps never seen before. If there was any question in my mind, the raid on my home 2 days ago, Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida, by the FBI, just 2 days prior to this deposition, think of it, wiped out any of that uncertainty. I have absolutely no choice because the current administration and many prosecutors in this country have lost all moral and ethical bounds of decency. Anyone in my position not taking the 5th Amendment would be a fool, an absolute fool. One statement or answer that is ever so slightly off, just ever so slightly, by accident, by mistake, such as it was a sunny and beautiful day when actually it was slightly overcast, would be met by law enforcement at a level seldom seen in this country, because I've experienced it. The United States Constitution exists for this very purpose, and I will utilize it to the fullest extent and defend myself against this malicious attack by this administration, this Attorney General's office, and all other attacks on my family, my business, and our country. Accordingly, under the advice of my counsel and for all of the above reasons, I respectfully decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the United States Constitution. This will be my answer to any further questions.
So, Mr. Trump, I take it you are not going to answer any questions about your preparation today with your counsel. Is that correct?
Should I say this, or should I respond to that? For all of the reasons provided in my answer, which is incorporated herein in its entirety, I decline to answer the question.
Mr. Trump, the focus of our investigation, what we are primarily going to cover today, involves a presentation of your statements of financial condition between 2011 and the present. I take it you are generally familiar with those statements. Is that correct?
For all of the reasons provided in my answer, which is incorporated herein in its entirety, I decline to answer the question.
Did you review any of those statements from the period 2011 to 2021 during your preparation for today's testimony?
For all of the reasons provided in my answer, which is incorporated herein in its entirety, I decline to answer the question.
Counsel, I think we can all stipulate that if he says same answer, we will all understand it to be the same indication. Let's speed things up. Okay. With that note, sir, you're currently the president of the Trump Organization, is that correct?
Same answer.
And when I refer to the Trump Organization, is it accurate to describe that as the trade name for an umbrella organization that holds assets beneficially owned by you?
Same answer.
You're aware at the time this was finalized that the statement of financial condition for 2011 contained false and misleading statements, is that correct?
Same answer.
In preparing the 2011 statement of financial conditions, Alan Weisselberg and Jeff McConney worked at your direction and followed your instructions and inflated asset valuations on the statement of financial conditions by employing false and misleading assumptions, is that correct?
Same answer.
So, I mean, he's practicing here, right?
Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment.
This is practice.
Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment.
He's practicing. Anyway, so cringe, man. If you're guilty, why are you pleading the Fifth Amendment? It's a good question. So if you're innocent, why are you pleading the Fifth Amendment? Goddamn mobster. Can you imagine, just like if Hillary pled the 5th in the fucking Benghazi hearings? Oh, God. Because I think... I'm pretty sure the entire hearing is there, at least one of them, because there was more than one. There were 6, wasn't there? There were 6 Republican House hearings committees for the Benghazi hearing, but you can see it's 11 hours. It's 11 hours she sat there with them. She got fucking carbuncles dealing with this shit. Did they actually have any breaks? Maybe, yeah, after 5 hours. What happened here? What's this viral moment?
Secretary of Defense had assets that he could have begun spinning up. Why there was not one order given to turn on one Department of Defense asset? I have my suspicions, which is Secretary Clinton told Leon to stand down. And we all heard about the stand-down order for 2 military personnel.
Just so you know what happened here, there were 2 posts. There were 2 American posts in Benghazi that got hit by a terrorist group. And I think like 6 or 7 Americans died. And it seemed that there were requests for additional security made beforehand that were ignored or that were not granted, but none of them implicated Hillary. That's what this is over. This is over whether or not Hillary did something wrong, where she acted improperly before the attack. Because obviously they ramped up security afterwards, but they didn't find anything. So her, Obama, everyone. There were some people, I think there were some lower officials who actually the requests were made to, who ended up stepping down. But otherwise, no. So the reason she isn't pleading the fifth here is because she was well behaved, basically. She did her goddamn job. Anyway. Hmm. Hmm. Rip Hillary, rip Joe Rogan. What? Okay. And now we got, oh god, the fucking conspiracy theories are still going. Oh my god. Fuck me. Hmm. One minute. Hang on. 1 minute. Just want to make sure we're not being lied to by chatters, because I feel like we are. What are you talking about? They didn't use the emails. There were emails that were reviewed in these committees. They couldn't use them to charge her. I'm sorry, was there information in the... But if there's information in the emails that showed she had done something that she could be charged for, they would have done that. Full of shit. Absolute bullshit. You're talking about the ones that were destroyed as part of like a routine thing where when they're getting rid of hard drives in a lot of these administration offices, they'll do the thing where they either like fucking smash it up or they dip it in fucking acid because that's the only way to like get rid of the data. Jesus Christ. There's always something. There's always something. When you say leaked, by the way, you mean the emails that were stolen by the Russian military, by the way. Hacked by the Russian military. Hey, a foreign adversary. Ooh. No bother. God of the gaps. No Piers. I'm not watching Piers Morgan for a while. Okay, he's going to be absolutely insufferable. And I know what he's going to say is there's no point. I can just write his fucking script. And then just give it to you for 20 seconds and then we can move on. Ooh. Ugh. Be right back, though. I need to go bathroom. Blech. Okay. Fuck me. All right. Ooh. You want to do Germany shit? Oh, God. I don't know. They dissolved parliament or some shit. It's very unprecedented. It's very Weimar Republic. I don't care. Fuck that. No, I'm not going to watch Son of Hamas speaking of Europe. No way. Fuck that. I want Ethan. I want H3 Hassan memes. The only way.
Fippy Darkpaw, dude. People are talking about Fippy in the chat. My boy.
People love Watch Talk, man. Can't get enough.
All right, so there's one other thing. Listen, I'm open to being wrong about this, okay? But so let's just...
So lock in.
I'm just going to tell you the way I see it.
What's your hypothesis?
All right, so this is why I did a story on the election morning. And here's my story about why I hate most socialists. Most, not all.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you came across the deprogram subreddit.
Well, I've seen them a lot of times, but here's something that is important to say about deprogram. One of the hosts, Second Thought, is the biggest socialist YouTuber, 2 million subs.
Mm-hmm.
program's probably the biggest socialist podcast. And
these are our guys. These are our friends. Remember that Twitter post where they copy-pasted the fucking obituary from the Hezbollah website when Nasrallah died? That was fucking banging. That was so good. And it got removed from Reddit. Where are you? Give me it. Look at it. They copied, pasted this in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. God Almighty is true. To the honorable Mujahideen, victorious, triumphant heroes of the Islamic resistance, you are the trust of the martyred Saeed. You are his brothers, his impregnable shield, the jewel, the crown of heroism, sacrifice, the treacherous Zionist missiles. It was from the fucking Islamic resistance website. The exact same fucking, it just copy pasted. That was very funny. That was good. Good memes.
Their show's frequented by Hassan, who co-signs them by the biggest socialist streamer. So like people trying to, like I saw comments, obviously some people were angry about this, and they're saying, oh, these are just fringe people. And I just don't know how you can possibly say that. I think the problem, is there's something rotten within this movement, and like it's not my fault for calling it like I see it. You know, these are the mainstream of this movement. These are the
I wouldn't go that far. It's definitely not the mainstream.
Who's bigger than them though? Like they're representing
a 2 million sub YouTube channel. I mean, there's so many of those. This is not most mainstream is too far.
Hold on.
I think most people on the left have no idea what the fuck this is.
That okay?
I never heard of it till now.
Yeah.
Well, you're not
in those circles, but
yeah.
No.
Still, like this.
Well, let me show the posts. So anyway,
like Hassan, yes, like he's you could reasonably call him mainstream at this point.
Yeah, and he co-signs them. These are the guys who on October 7th was like,
I remember
settler babies and everyone should be killed. They're all subjects. And I said that to Hassan, and he's like, yeah, those are good guys. You know, I was like, okay, that's the first time I heard about the deprogramming of these guys. So anyway, here's what I says. Why I hate most socialists. Let's take a look at Deprogram, one of the most popular socialist subreddits, and a show frequented by Hassan. These are the guys who said all Israelis are valid military targets, including babies, just by the nature of existing and being born there. So let's see what they're up to on election day. This was all just straight up on their homepage. I did not do any digging. I just looked, and this is what I saw. Here's a cartoon. It says, encouraging fathers to vote for their daughters' rights. Who are you voting for, Daddy? You, he says. Okay, this cartoon. Here's how they describe this. And this has 540 upvotes. This image spread around to get people to vote for Democrats is disgusting and disingenuous. American lives are more important than Palestinians' children's lives. Just say it out loud already, liberals. What the fuck are you talking about, you absolute imbecile? Like, what you can voting for your children's fucking and women's rights does not mean you hate Gaza. If anything says you hate Palestinians more, it's fucking making sure Trump wins. But okay, so this is, again, everyone's like, yeah, this is despicable. This cartoon's despicable.
People think this doesn't matter, I guess, because Trump won. But no, it does matter, because it turns out that there's the next election, and given that it doesn't take that many votes to sway the Electoral College, if this branch of leftism is growing, then they could have influence. Like, it's a problem. You want to stop this shit from growing. It's a problem everywhere.
What?
They're everywhere.
And they hate liberals. The way they talk about liberals, you'll see. Here's another one.
I know.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then the Iranian woman who took off her clothing in protest, she got like beaten up for not wearing her hijab correctly. Lots of videos and media going around about this really brave woman who might be dead for all I know. I mean, you can only imagine what the morality police did with her once they caught up to her. They're treating her like a slut. I'm not even kidding. This post has, 100 upvotes, although I don't know what it has now, but this was 5 hours. Revolutionary Blackout Network is spot on. Liberal feminism is a plague. Liberals really believe liberation for women in the Middle East is whether they have the ability to start an OnlyFans or not. Like that's,
Jesus.
That's what they boil that down to.
So dumb.
It's demented. It's actually like sick. And again, this is a community that Hassan has endorsed on my fucking channel.
Good Lord.
If you care about liberating women in the Middle East, you would support ending Zionist regime that is literally murdering them. I mean, okay. It's like you can care about both, dude. This country doesn't even provide health care and paid maternity leave to women, while the rest of the world does. But you truly believe American liberals give a fuck about Iranian women? Well, let's go back to what you said, is that liberation is if they can start an OnlyFans or not. That's fucking disgusting. I feel for the people of Iran, man. The people of Iran don't like their fucking government. They want to be free from those psychos.
Yeah, I mean, these people are probably children, and this shit has a couple hundred upvotes. This is what I'm saying. It's just like, I agree with you that these people suck and are way off base. Like, I'm with you. I'm not going to argue that.
It's weird that, don't some people say that there used to be polls that were like, oh, it seems like American youth actually prefers socialism to capitalism. If you look at the youth polls, that was the case like 10 years ago. I don't know if it still is. They'll talk about how it's like growing and Bernie would have won and socialism would have attracted more working class voters. But also, we're a tiny movement. Don't worry about us. Like, come on. We don't have any influence. Come on. Fuck off. It's one or the other, Brit.
This one had 2,000 upvotes.
Okay.
This was like, and again, like, they're a big subreddit, but they're not like huge, obviously, because it's a niche.
It's a niche
interest.
thing. That's what I was trying to say. Is this is like a niche community.
Well,
which I agree is saying all kinds of disgusting shit.
It's saying it's big in this category, though.
It's the biggest.
It's the biggest.
And I think it's valid.
It's niche in the sense that like it's not like our videos has like that's a wide appeal. There's not that many people interested in watching podcasts.
Oh, Marcus, thanks for the 5 gifted subs. That's really generous of you. And Speedy Taco, thanks for the $5. Can you say Hawk Pua shit on that thing? Thang? No, I cannot say that. Apart from just there. Sorry.
It's about socialism.
Right.
But anyway, this one had 2,000 upvotes. And it's titled, What Fuels Anti-Semitism? Okay, what is it? Actually, what fuels anti-Semitism is murdering children by the thousands under the banner of the Star of David while adamantly insisting that your actions are inseparable from all Jews and the totality of Judaism.
Actually, what fuels Islam is when you fly fucking planes into buildings and oppress the shit out of your own people under the banner of the Islamic fucking moon and call yourself an Islamic state. You would never say this.
This is fucking disgusting. Like, how many fucking flags Muslim countries have?
Oh, wow.
How many countries have Muslim symbolism in their flag? How many Christian countries have Christian symbolism in their flag? Like dozens?
Yeah.
In the 20s? And like, actually,
lots of people say that though. Yeah, and they're wrong. Well done. Yes, I'm using them to make a fucking comparison, dickhead. All right.
Really, anti-Semitism is the Jews' fault. I mean, this is fucking left-wing anti-Semitism. It's disgusting, dude. 2,000 upvotes. Everybody's down with this one. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. These people fucking do not like Jews.
Shit.
That's pretty clear.
I mean, they go a long way to making rules about who's good and who's bad Jews. You know what I mean? The part that gets me is fueling anti-Semitism is murdering children under the banner of Star David. Then they go, while adamantly insisting that your actions are inseparable from Jews. That's them doing that. Who's they? Like, what is she saying?
The Israeli government. They're saying the Israeli government represents themselves as being the Jewish state and therefore like sanctioned by the religion.
I don't think they say that.
You would know better than me. I mean, I
don't think Israel's like we are every Jew. I mean, it's a country and it has politics like any other country. Like the 20 fucking
hardcore like hyper right wing people in Netanyahu's government. characterize it that way?
Honestly,
Like,
who gives a fuck what they say? They're not. Like,
Right,
Saudi
well-
Arabia is doing a genocide in Yemen. They have, like, the fucking Islamic symbolism in their flag. Are all Islam?
Yeah,
are all Muslims
I get what
fucking
you're saying.
terrorists?
Right, yeah.
2,000 upvotes. I mean, this is just bigotry. It's disgusting, dude. Then this one, I can't wait for Trump to win today. That was in the morning. Millions upon millions of liberal tears are going to start falling just like they did in 2016. And it's going to be such a sublime feeling knowing they lost. Trump is going to be a disaster for America on the world stage. He's going to pull out of NATO. And then he's going to trip over himself during any kind of interaction with any other world leader, which will put the U.S. in more negative standing with its allies as well as its enemies. I get that Trump wants to implement another tariff war with China, but the U.S. will massively lose that since partaking in China's economy is necessary for anyone who wants to be relevant in the global business affairs. Goodbye, American empire. I'm ready to watch you burn.
What? This is a fucking... Yeah, this is some fucking lunatic teenager. I hope that they're a teenager.
I mean,
to be
so
honest.
this was 2 hours old and has 90 upvotes. Again, it's not like a ton, but it was trending up.
Yeah, no,
probably
I mean,
ended up with a few hundred upvotes. You know.
Yeah.
I mean this is radical. This is weird shit.
Yeah, these people are weirdos, bro. I'm with you.
And so again, I'm trying to tell you guys, Hassan is friends with these guys. He co-signs them. He will not criticize them.
It's not
And that
good
to me
look.
is fucking gross.
The fact that he would go on this show is insane.
He literally said to my face when I was criticizing Second Thought for saying all Jews are valid military targets or all Israelis are valid military targets. He literally said, "Yeah, those are good guys. I like them." Like to my fucking face. And I didn't even know that much about them. The more I learn about them, the more fucked up I realize his inability to.
Well, these people, I think we all agree, are crazy. But like, what percentage do you think they make up of, say, the voting public? I mean,
Small,
isn't it so small?
But what I'm saying is socialist.
In fact, almost zero because they don't vote.
Yeah. So
what I'm saying is,
so
what are we talking about?
Of socialist movements.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who we're talking about. You don't think Hassan has influence online?
Of course he does.
He's
Yeah,
mainstream.
for sure.
So this is like Donald Trump hanging out with Nick Fuentes. Like, you don't think that matters?
Yeah, it does.
It does matter.
I think it's.
But I'm just saying, is there enough kooks out there to make a difference when anything? I mean, there's always
I
people
think
on the
Hassan
fringe.
has become highly influential with young voters.
For sure.
And he's mainlining people into becoming socialist. And like this is part of the pipeline. And they're watching all
Well,
this
in the
stuff.
context of this election, though, because I feel like if he voted on stream and told everybody to vote for Kamala, then I don't think you can put that on him. Even if he is associating with people that do have these attitudes, associating with is one thing, but whatever, we should be accurate about what he's actually saying.
Here, I don't know. Pull this video up. I don't know if it's good or not.
Okay. What is this?
I will say I understand where you're coming from, Ethan, just because, I'm Mexican and I see racism, until especially more so now with Donald Trump, right? With people just kind of accepting just blatant hate for specifically Latinos in America and more specific undocumented immigrants here. But it's also important, like, I agree with you and everything, but it's also important not to, like, put random crazies, like, not to give
These
them
are
the
not
time.
dude.
No, the
These are
Reddit
not
posts
random
are random
crazies.
people.
The Reddit-
You're
no,
criticizing.
but, like, dude, it's-
I
no.
understand who you're criticizing. You're criticizing
This
Hassan,
has 2,000
and you're
upvotes.
criticizing
This has
the
2,000
deeper.
Wait. I never saw this. I never saw this. This is only 14 hours ago. This is the day after my one. The fuck? Mine was on the 6th. Damn, I got double trolled. I thought he'd said something earlier that was similar to what I said. I don't think he did. I think he just said it like way after. Oh no. He's embracing it. He's embracing the fake news, man. He's gone. He's killing the Joker right now. The Joker is getting fucked, man. He's torturing and killing the Joker. He's decided. We're going to see. He's definitely out there spotting some deep irregularities in those ballot boxes. He's noticing vehicles and briefcases and black women counting the votes. He's on it.
2,000 upvotes.
Subreddit. I agree with that.
This is
But
2,000 upvotes.
I know, but it's still not enough to like spend so much energy on
in the
random
grand
people.
scheme of things, it's 2,000
If
people.
I spend all my time,
Dude, I'm sorry.
responding to-
I feel like you guys are
No, it's-
you guys
I
are
understand
gaslighting
these
a little bit. I
people-
feel like
I don't think
these are part of the socialist movement. This is a big part of it. Hassan fucks with these guys. That should concern people. He sits down with these guys multiple times a year and chops it up with them.
Yeah,
that's I'm sorry, that's fucked
You can
up.
criticize him for that, but I'm coming from the angle of the impact that it actually had on election day. I think.
I agree. I don't
minimal.
think it affected the election that much, and I'm not blaming anyone because we lost too hard. But I am disturbed by the growing relevance that I see people like this having, and Hassan has a direct influence on people like this, and it's fucking maddening to see.
It is like a hot trend, like being
It is.
hateful. Like that's
Being
concerning
like
to
a
me.
nihilistic socialist, like I'm seeing that this is becoming a popular take.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I feel like we should criticize more when Hassan's on the podcast. What's he saying on that podcast? Because you're showing good stuff of what he's saying on there, or even specifically when he was when he said the guy was a good guy after he said, "Oh yeah, they should all get killed or whatever after October 7th." That's something worth criticizing and talking about
Yeah,
because
for
it puts
sure. I
him on
totally
blast
get why
directly.
that's upsetting. Like that is upsetting. Like,
let's see what this is.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to go after anybody, go after the host of that show.
Put some
You know what I
fucking
mean?
sleeves
Like,
on,
these
you
random
asshole.
Editors, it's like,
But what I'm saying is that obviously I understand it's not a huge group of people, but it's representative of what their community feels. If these posts are getting 2,000 likes on their subreddit, you guys are part of online communities. It's like this is
It's a
representative.
decent amount of upvotes. I get it, but like this, it's especially coming. Like, listen, like I think to tie this into something that Hila said earlier, of like you going through your Instagram feed and just realizing what a bubble you're in. Like, I think you need to widen the bubble a little bit here, because in your online, I mean, I get it. These are like your former co-host and like people that you associate with. So like it's upsetting, and it's ex-fans of ours and everything. But at the end of the day, this is a group of like at most a couple, like 10,000 people that are like.
Is there a third ex-friend of Hassan turned enemy other than Ethan and Dustin? I don't know. I think I didn't know Irrelevant was a Hassan mod. That's weird. That was news to me. But no, specifically, I don't. Not to that degree, anyway. There might be smaller level.
Like hanging out on the deprogram subreddit. It's just not, and they don't vote anyways. So they're just kind of irrelevant, I guess.
2 million sub podcasts.
Yeah, but they want to encourage they're encouraging young progressives not to vote. And youth turnout was really bad. Do you think those youth were going to be mostly Democrat or Republican? They were going to be mostly Democrat. Well, actually, I don't even know now because of the fucking Rogan effect, right? The normal boy thing to Trump pipeline. If this were in the 90s, there would have been like a fucking Game Boy Color to Trump pipeline. That's weird. Do you think it was the case in the 30s as well with the Nazis? Do you think there was like a fucking tiddlywinks to Nazism pipeline that we just never paid that much attention to in history?
Yeah, the fact that
Not
it's
small.
Are they really getting that like slamming of views?
His channel has 2 million subscribers.
Yeah,
and
but
for
how are the
political, it's hundreds of thousands per episode.
Okay.
It's a lot
I mean, that's
for a
pretty
political
popular.
Yeah,
channel.
that's big.
Yeah.
I think a good thing to pull would be more the YouTube comments. What does every episode say after?
Dude, those comments are fucking insane.
I think that would be a better thing to grab than just the random subreddit, because Reddit is just full of crazies. It's
But
really
still, there's.
But I feel like you guys can understand the point Ethan is making.
I
Because
understand
there's a
the point.
subreddit, and it's showing what is the essence of the win in their subreddit. This is the essence.
How much influence do you think people like Hassan had in this election? I think the popular, but not Hassan personally, but the entire far left sphere. I don't know, how many voters do you think didn't turn out because of the rhetoric of like what? So TYT were feeling like they couldn't vote because of the genocide. Majority Report said that, even though they also said you should vote, but mixed messaging is a bit annoying. Hassan, I don't know, if you add it all up, I'd say there are probably about 500,000 to 1 million eligible voters who decide not to vote because they're not inspired by the people they watch for left-wing stuff. But I don't know, we people talk about campus protests and like the kind of default ways of thinking in a lot of these colleges. Like, I don't know, maybe there's more. I don't know, man. Brianna Joy Gray.
I think it's
I
not.
know, I get it.
It's
And
not
Mike from PA definitely took a few thousand voters away from Harris. Where it mattered as well, right? Pennsylvania.
The genocide charge convinced a lot of Americans who care about Gaza that Israel's crimes could not possibly have been worse. But this is wrong. If, for example, Biden didn't make Israel let food into Gaza in October 2023, there is famine.
Thanks for £25. Well, we're about to find out, eh? I mean, at least Trump has come in near the tail end of the war, because I don't really want to know how things would have gone at the beginning of the war with the Trump presidency. I mean, going forward, I don't think you're going to see sanctions on settlements anymore, or settlers getting called out by the State Department and not getting access to the dollar or anything like that. I don't think you're going to see any of that. I think you're going to see a lot more encouragement for the West Bank activity. Probably a lot more encouragement for Israel to beef up their buffer zones in Gaza compared to Biden. A lot more carte blanche behavior. Yeah, Vosh got people to vote. I wouldn't charge Vosh with the same crime as the Hassanosphere and shit.
Or some other
Like,
YouTube,
if somebody will come and post in our subreddit some Islamophobia, we're not going to let that live there, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to make it to 2,000
No,
upvotes.
it'll get reported, it'll get downvoted.
Seeing what goes on in their subreddit is definitely representative of something about them.
No, like again, I'll concede right at the beginning that like not all socialists are like this. I mean, there's lots of reasonable, intelligent, caring, humanist socialists. You know what I mean? Okay.
And a lot of them, you know, this thread of like anti-electoralism and, you know, making vague overtures towards violently overthrowing the government and everything, like it's goofy behavior. These people are never going to do anything remotely like that. And but that, again, the anti-electoral strain of people on the left, listen, I don't have any data to back this up, so I'm happy to admit if I'm wrong. I think that is a small minority of the vocal leftists that you see around. You know what I mean? I think most of them voted.
I think
because they're engaged and like they understand these things that you're saying about like Trump being way worse. Like it is reasonable. So
yeah, but why is they're going to be young, and young people did not vote. They didn't turn out like they should have, like 2020.
But it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, let's watch this. Let's watch this. We're talking in circles a little bit. I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is like what I see online. Like this is what it is. Like what is another socialist program that's doing vote for Harris or any other one. Like what?
Evidently, again,
people never vote, so it's consistent. No, the youth turnout was a lot higher than usual in 2020, but it went back down this election. But that's true for a few demographics. I said that. I did say that the youth vote was a large part of Biden's win in 2020, and the polls were showing that it wasn't expected to be as high this time. So just saying, come to me next time.
I don't have firsthand knowledge, but according to our chat, Hassan, even if he is fraternizing with these guys that you find objectionable, it sounds like he did encourage people to vote for Trump.
Let's see.
That's a big one.
That's what I'm looking into.
Unfortunately, how that works. Also, I'm not even saying that like you should vote for Kamala Harris or you shouldn't vote for Kamala Harris at all. I don't know why you're so fucking aggressive about this issue.
He's responding to a chatter who said, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Insistence on a lesser evil is nothing but motivated reasoning for a fallacy."
Yeah, vote socialist. If you want to vote socialist, go ahead. I'm not going to fucking...
Damn, Bernie aged a lot. The fuck?
Not as bad as Jimmy Carter, though.
He's not there yet.
I'm not going to convince you otherwise. The fuck do you mean? As long as you're not voting for Donald Trump.
I mean, at most you could say that wasn't as emphatic of an endorsement as you'd have liked, but he's clearly...
Let me see what else he got.
You know what I mean? He's saying, if you feel like you can't vote, I'm not going to tell you have to vote, but don't vote for Trump.
Let me see what else here. I'm fact-checking myself right now.
Okay.
Are you supporting any candidates this year?
No, not at all. I have been a big advocate of the uncommitted voting campaign as well against Joe Biden in the Democratic...
Let me rewind that. He's been a big advocate of what?
The uncommitted campaign. So this is obviously before Biden dropped out, so presumably earlier this year.
Against Joe Biden in the Democratic primaries. I'm an advocate of full-blown pressure on every aspect.
So he's talking about the primary here.
You have demonstrated.
Am I understanding that correctly?
I don't think so. The primary?
In the Democratic primary. Because there was a primary. Remember, like, there was an initial vote.
It says here 24 weeks ago. I don't know.
This is May 17th. Is that what it says?
Yeah, May 17th. So yeah, this was around the time of the primary. So this is not the general election that he's talking about here.
But Biden is obviously the...
Yeah, the point was, listen, in the primary, a lot of people they withheld their vote, even though obviously Biden was going to win as a protest vote. But
this is a clip from Wired interview they did with him. It's called "Why Hassan Piker Will Not Endorse Biden."
Yeah, it's clickbait.
You have to demand divestment from your college campuses. You have to boycott certain products as long as it's like organized. I'm not like some TikTok stuff, but like, an organized boycott with a clear-cut demand. Call your congressperson. And then I think the tip of that spear at the end of it is also to say, like, I am not going to vote for you unless you fix this. Before Israel-Palestine, before October 7, there were plenty of moments where I would tell my audience, and a lot of the initiatives that the Biden White House has taken on had made this administration probably one of the most pro-labor administrations in contemporary American history. Yes, if I'm young, I don't see anyone right now that is captivating me, that is like causing me to go out and vote.
I want to bring it back to voting, though. We're 5 months out. There are two choices. Is Trump better than Biden?
No. She's talking about Trump versus Biden.
Okay, sorry.
We're 5 months out. It's Trump versus Biden. She's clarified.
Everybody knew Biden was going to win the primary. They still...
Let me hear how he answers this. This part's important.
It's like causing me to go out and vote.
I want to bring it back to voting, though. We're 5 months out. There are two choices. Is Trump better than Biden?
No, absolutely not. I'm always going to be honest. No, I don't think that Trump would be better on Israel-Palestine.
So you're not going to be voting for Biden?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll be voting for Biden. I'll be honest, but I won't tell you not to. Like, do your thing. The voting uncommitted campaign, I think, is a good way to openly stress the Democratic Party to like get them to listen when you have marginal victories.
Listen, it's not that bad, but it's definitely influencing.
Yeah, I mean, again, because it's about the primary, the uncommitted movement during the primary, the whole goal was to warn the Democratic Party that, hey, this is an important issue, and this amount of your electorate is voting uncommitted to, like...
Are you asking to see Voss's stream and how he thought this election, like Weimar Germany, was hilarious? Bro, it was true. That was his opportunity to be completely accurate with that analogy. It's either like that or Star Wars when he makes the Empire and she says, "This is how liberty dies." It was like one of those ones. Easy.
send a message essentially.
all the
But the
100%.
uncommitted movement, from what I understand, did eventually say vote for Kamala. In fact, recently, like in the last week of the election or something.
This one's recent. Let's see what this one is with this fucking guy.
This meatball.
And all the efforts to reconcile with the Taliban.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to respond to this. God, I wish I was rich and white. Then I don't have to worry about who wins either way. Yeah, but when you're poor and also a underserved minority, no matter who wins, it still fucks you over regardless. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, okay. Like, if like, sure, let's say I'm an asshole for not caring enough about, the consequences of Trump's presidency. What does that make Kamala's campaign for running such a dog shit campaign?
Yeah.
What does it make the people who have received hundreds of...
It doesn't really go anywhere.
I didn't really understand what that was.
Yeah,
I looked up the thing where Hassan voted on stream because I was talking about it, and he's filling in his ballot, and he has like a election voting guide, and I feel like that kind of promotes voting for Kamala, right?
Let's see.
In my opinion, seems like he's breaking down every choice on the ballot.
You know what happened, guys? I lost like on election night. I lost like 50 subs. I was like, "What the fuck happened?" 50 subs. That's quite a bit random. Bit of a random drop there. Did someone make a video about me, or was I just too obnoxious on the day? But it turns out that quite a few channels were losing a lot more than 50 subs. I guess, I don't know, people burned out, or they didn't like I wasn't being that hopium. Pac-Man and Brian Taylor Cohen, right? Is that his name? I can't remember his fucking name, man. Bots leaked your folder. Nice. Horses is what it is, man. I didn't do anything wrong. Fuck them. They can go somewhere else. I'm good. But yeah, I don't think anyone was shitting on me, so yeah. I don't know.
Giving recommendations, what everything is and stuff like that.
Hey, that's our song.
Probably your hummus takes. Oh. What? The hummus thing was rigged though because of the fucking Sabra shit though, right? It was rigged. Dan just told everyone he tried to sway the vote towards Sabra because he recognized that he knew the taste of it. I was like, fucked.
Wait, this is just it from the beginning, Sarah.
Yeah, if you just go 10 seconds.
Oh, he's just saying throughout this whole video. That's what this video is him going through a ballot voting.
For me to fill my ballot. And as always, as is the case every year, it's in front of me right now. We got a voter information pamphlet for the JIP. I'm opening up my official the DSA LA. Be dropping off my ballot at a now as instruction.
Well, it's timestamp when he votes for the president.
I didn't find that part.
You didn't find that part?
Probably at the beginning, right?
Yeah, but I think it's the first thing on the ballot.
The whole point of the stream, I feel like, is having people make voting easier, right?
There's a point. There's lots of other stuff on the ballot than president.
Okay. Maybe he left it blank. Let's
Why
find.
did you know it was Jover? Bro, I think I knew it was Jover when the fucking Florida results came in because the gap was so wide compared to 2020. Yeah, that's probably why. That was probably when. But you have to keep up a good front, so that you can keep optimistic and enjoy it for as long as possible, and also so you can convince XQC to bet $1 million on a fucking bad result. Oh no.
Find out.
Instruction says, number 1, check that you have your ballot cards and a return ballot Kamala.
You couldn't find him voting for the president?
It's a 50-minute long or an hour long.
Can you
video.
check the transcript?
Yeah, I can try.
Do you really want to get him on this one? Don't you? You want to get him?
No, but this is important.
Sure. Okay. You want to see with your own eyes that he fucking bubbled the bubble.
He's right up to the fucking edge of the plank. Let's see him jump off.
It's an edited video too. It's like a long
Why would they
stream.
ght that out?
I don't know. I'll look too.
Let's
work
get
here,
this
bro.
a fair
The
shake.
answer is here.
No stone unturned here.
Dude,
the answer is here. The proof is right here in the pudding, and we're about to taste the pudding. So
this is pro-voting, in my opinion, if anything. Hassan helping and clearing up what's on the ballot.
I thought Hassan did that deprogram 2 months ago.
Listen, I don't disagree that him associating with these tanky weirdos is the best look.
Can you send? I just
You know
need
what I
another
mean?
clip.
I don't really get down with those guys either, so I feel you on that.
I thought you did get down with those guys, Dan. It's not true.
Did I get down with what?
Those psycho weirdos?
The psycho weirdos?
Yeah, I thought you were actually down with them.
Yeah.
He's kidding.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Here's another one I got. While you guys look for that.
fighting for a brighter future, maybe hard work.
When are you endorsing
Hard
this
work is
ticket? I mean, when I see some fucking momentum on Gaza.
So, we will continue to fight for affordable housing, for affordable health
If I
care,
don't see momentum
affordable
on
child
Gaza,
care, and
you know.
paid leave.
Oh, what?
Bro, if they change the course on Gaza, I won't even endorse. I will fucking door knock. I've said it already. I said this before. I will get a fucking tour bus and I will go to every goddamn state. I will go to every goddamn state. I'll hold events, all out of pocket, all on my own. Okay? I will go. I will door knock. I will try to make sure.
I just want to see the alternative reality where Kamala takes on Hassan's line on Gaza and Trump immediately calls her a terrorist and a jihadist and a Houthi, and people make AI pictures of her dressed up in the Hamas bandanas and she loses. She loses the electoral college like 350 or something. Fuck.
That I get every goddamn American on board. If they change course on Gaza, okay? If they say things like, hey, no more weapons transfers, what the fuck's going on? You keep sullying the own, you keep...
Oh, there you go.
Don't care. It's all boring. Okay, plans going forward. I'm going to finish my US civics course off stream. I don't need you guys breathing down my neck when I'm learning that shit. And I don't know. I was going to maybe do a deep dive into the details of all of Trump's crimes, just so I know what they are, even if they're going to get dropped by the DOJ. Probably finish Mueller, because it's actually important now. It's important again. So I need to know what's on the priority list, though. I got a quarter of the way through Mueller, maybe a bit more. I kind of recognize most of the names now and know most of the obvious things that happened, but I could probably go further. Iran history arc. Shut up. I've already got my big Hezbollah history thing planning out. There's a new book, actually, that just got released that's about them. More specifically, their actions in Lebanon. But things to read about on stream. Trump's crimes. Probably revisit Ukraine and get caught up with everything there. Little small explainers on different aspects of the Israel-Gaza stuff and maybe Israel-Palestine in general. We might get diverted by China-Taiwan if anything happens there. I don't know. What else with America, though? I might do a little... quite tempted to do a 5-minute or like even though it's like a 10-minute history of tariffs. That would be quite a funny video. But I guess the immediate thing, whilst he's still whilst the DOJ is about to drop the charges, to drop the cases, I think Trump's crimes might be a thing, because I remember I read the indictment about the boxes, but I didn't take notes on it, and I was just laughing about the number of times they mentioned boxes, so I wasn't really paying that much attention. Musk, that's what I want to learn more about Musk, because there is this journalist who was speaking a bit about Musk on CNN, and I think he's going to obviously not be out of the media for a really long time. So maybe looking into the purchase of Twitter, looking into Elon's Russia connections, looking into what he personally stands to gain from the presidency. Yeah. Yeah. You're still a disgusting loser just on the left this time. Fuck you. What? What'd I do? Alex. What the fuck? Just on the left this time. Jesus. What the hell? Steve Bannon out of jail? Yeah. I never really did look into much of the January 6th stuff on the grounds of like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the individuals and their criminal cases. I didn't really look much into that. I'll drop 50 subs if you do a short deep dive on Iran history. Well, starting when, Marcus? As in like from which date? Do I need to look at their ancient history or... Peter Thiel? Yeah. From 1000 BC. 20th century is probably all I need for fucking Iraq. British Empire, right? Because they were administered by the British in part. Last 40 years. What? Post-revolution? Why the fuck would I learn from the revolution onwards without looking at what the Shah was doing and what happened before the Shah with Mossadegh and the coup and everything? Bro. I'm still finishing my Hezbollah history, like, because I want to do a video on the entire history of Hezbollah with a shitload of detail, since they're basically on their way out, right? Like, I'm just writing the obituary. But now Trump's crimes might be good to look into that. I might read the Dominion lawsuit just for memes. But yeah, you gotta learn about the boxes, learn about the 34 guilty counts, and look at... Apparently there's a bit of shenanigans behind Musk's acquisition of Twitter, so that might be fun. Ukrainian Anna was on the H3 subreddit asking to get on. You'd probably be a great guest too. Well, who knows, eh? Just pray for me, guys. What kind of shenanigans? The fact that it was 2 Russian oligarchs who helped him buy it. That's kind of a shenanigan. Is any of that unnecessary, though? The Musk stuff is definitely not unnecessary. The Trump crimes might be, but it'll probably come up. It would be good to see, like, oh, what him coming into office, like, what crimes he got away with because of that, especially with the boxes. How Trump won the first influencer election from Taylor Lorenz. Okay, great. I could also just do a more vibey research thing about how young men and how all of young men activities got politicized. About how MMA and fucking video game, I mean, maybe not so much video games anymore, but how all these things, Joe Rogan, how it all got politicized as a pipeline to Trump. Because that's fucked up. I don't really see that happening in other countries, or at least not to an outcome determinative extent. Or I'm just gonna play piano and get good at Beethoven sonatas and fuck this nonsense. Or do British politics and stream to 200 people who don't give a shit. We'll see. How's Starmer doing in your estimations? I haven't even watched the budget. I have no idea. I haven't read the budget. British election was fun. But okay, we got plans. We're fine. Okay? We're fine. Gonna have to do Israel stuff soon. Thoughts on the rumor you're starting a podcast with Amaranth? I guess nothing's impossible. Could you share feedback on the Goldstone workbook when you can? I'll guide my changes. Oh yeah, because you did a whole thing on it, didn't you? Yeah, I read it. I saw that. It's hard to navigate that on my laptop, but yeah, I could probably do that when I get home. Did you go to a shooting range? No. Fuck off. This is an interesting thing as well. Hey, more class politics. Hey, more envy politics. Let's go. True. What's this all about? Stonks. Okay. Fuck. I'm lingering. We're circling the drain, guys. Fuck this. Were you doing DIY and hit your fingernails with a hammer? Good one. I know people have been waiting in the Discord, okay? I'm just... When you're dropping LGG, as soon as I figure out what the fuck happened to the domain, because there's been issues, okay? And I don't know how to get around them. Crush Destiny at chess again. He won't play. He's a coward. He's scum. He's a tweet jacker. The lowest of the low. I'd never borrow a talking point from Destiny. Unreal. The ingratitude. Anyway. feel like I've out-tweeted him intellectually. All right. I love you guys. Grumble, grumble, grumble. See you tomorrow, potentially. Who knows? Bye.